on the landlord and tenant bill, a bill originating from the National Assembly, Bill number 3 of the year 2021. Thereafter, the House will be moving into the Committee of the Whole that has a total number of 5 bills for consideration before it. The Lifestyle Audit Bill by Senator Farhia Haji, the Law of Succession Amendment Bill by Senator Abshiro Halaki, the Preservation of Human Dignity and Protection of Economic and Social Rights Bill, the Special Needs Education Bill, a bill by Senator Gertrude Musuruve and Senator Professor Margaret Kamar. The Committee of the Whole is also set to consider the Elections Amendment Bill number 3, a bill by Nyeri Senator Ephraim Maina, Bill number 48 of the year 2021. Similarly, the Committee of the Whole will also consider an election bill by Senator for Narok County, Senator Ledama Olekina, this being Bill number 43 of the year 2021. The Election Campaign Financing Amendment Bill, Bill number 51 of 2021, is also another bill lined up for debate before this afternoon. The Chairperson Standing Committee on Matters Health will be moving up a motion on the adoption of the committee special audit report on the utilization of COVID-19 funds by 28 county governments. The Senator for Vihiga County, Senator George Haniri, will make a statement, and this is pursuant to Standing Orders number 47, subsection 1, concerning Kenya's favorable balance of trade status. Nominated Senator Gertrude Musuruve Inima will be making a statement concerning Zero Discrimination Day. The Senator for Nandi, Samson Cherargei, will pass on to Standing Orders 48, subsection 1, seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Matters Roads and Transportation, and the statement is in regard to the increase in the total cost of construction of the Nairobi Expressway by 7.6 billion shillings. Senator Professor Margaret Kamar is the speaker presiding over this afternoon sitting. I'm now handing over for the live broadcast. Enjoy your viewing.
Prayer. Almighty God, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor and blessings as your servants whom you have been pleased to call to leadership positions in this republic. We seek guidance to treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberations in so just and faithful a manner as to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our church. Amen.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions.
Take your seats, honorable senators. Honorable senators, please take your seats. Honorable senators, there is a petition to the Senate concerning the recruitment, remuneration, and termination of early childhood development, ECD, teachers in Nyamira County. Let me allow the two members to sit. I see the Senator of Nyamira here. For the sake of the Senator of Nyamira, let me reread the petition. The petition to the Senate is concerning the recruitment, remuneration, and termination of early childhood development ECD teachers in Nyamira County. Honorable Senators, I hereby report to the Senate that a petition has been submitted through the clerk by residents of Nyamira County and members representing Early Childhood Development, ECD, Teachers Association of Nyamira County, concerning the recruitment, remuneration, and termination of early childhood development, ECD teachers in Nyamira County. As you are aware, under Article 1191 of the Constitution, and I quote, every person has a right to petition Parliament to consider any matter within its authority, including enacting, amending, or repealing any legislation. Honorable Senators, the silent issues raised in the petition are as follows. One, that there have been cases of unfair labor practices by the Nyamira County government against ECD teachers. A case in point is where the ECD teachers employed in the year 2014 were unlawfully terminated after serving for 6 years. Two, that there has been arbitrary stoppage of stipend and emoluments entitled to ECD teachers. This has led to discriminatory practices on remuneration of the teachers, which in turn has resulted to poor performance and resignation of teachers. Three, that there has been disparity in payments of pension from LAP fund, and no gratuity has been paid to teachers terminated by the county government. Four, that none of the ECD teachers have been confirmed on permanent and pensionable terms by the Nyamira County government since the inception of the scheme of service for ECD teachers and ECD Act of 2018. Five, that the petitioners have made efforts to have their concerns addressed by the Nyamira County Assembly without success. The petitioners therefore pray that the Senate intervenes in the matter with a view to one, recommending that the ECD teachers who were unlawfully terminated are employed on permanent and pensionable terms by the Nyamira County in accordance with SRC guidelines, and two, recommending that the ECD teachers whose contracts were illegally terminated to be fully compensated by the Nyamira County Assembly. Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 231, I shall now allow comments, observations, or clarifications in relation to the petition for not more than 30 minutes. Yes, it has started working. I will give Senator Mogeni last. So let me start with Senator Zani Agnes Philomena.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The issue of ECDE management and teachers across the county has been an issue of great concern in this House. And we have had recently a statement that was brought by Senator Wambua, really dealing with the same issue. I think it really cuts across all counties. I thank the petitioners who have brought this petition to the Senate, because this is a matter that needs to really be interrogated, including, for example, the remuneration that is given where there's such variation. For example, for those who have certificate qualification, for those who have diploma qualification, and those who have degree qualification. Indeed, Madam Speaker, the variation across the counties in terms of payment in itself is problematic. There has been a scheme of service that has been in draft form, and as Education Committee, we've been trying to push that this scheme of service be properly implemented. And there seems to be a situation where, for example, if COG, together with TSC and KICD, come up with a collaborative framework to ensure that this is properly applied across all the counties, it'll help to address some of these issues. Madam Speaker, the scheme of service talks not only about the remuneration of these teachers, but also this petition raises the issue of pension, for example, and how that is handled across each of the counties. We need, at the end of the day, Madam Speaker, from what the petitioners are saying, to have a way to deal with the budgetary allocation. The budgetary allocation for ECDE that is given to the counties has mainly been through conditional grants. These conditional grants at one time were removed in the last allocation, suggesting a need to ring-fence those funds within the counties, which also has not happened. So you find that the county assemblies have to find a way to ensure that the money that goes as one main kitty into the fund can be allocated for ECD. Madam Speaker, another issue is that many of the counties are also going beyond their mandate within the counties in giving some of the money that might have been used for ECDE into other projects within the counties. And an inspection of these would help to find out what money is ring-fenced for ECDE, and then that money is specifically used for ECD classrooms. There's an ECDE bill from this House, and it creates and gives very clear specifications about how to handle this whole area. So this petition is coming to this House at the right time, because despite the various questions that have been asked, including the statement that was raised by Senator Wambua recently and the interrogation with the various stakeholders, we still have an issue that it keeps coming. In fact, Madam Speaker, I would suggest that by the time the report from Education Committee comes to the House, that report is interrogated at a committee of the whole, so that it gives a chance for all of us to see what the issues are and to interact with the stakeholder. A quality assurance, a rigorous process for quality assurance would enable us to establish these problems and be able to handle them in good time. So I congratulate the petitioners, and I think this is another effort at really streamlining, because ECDE is one of the sectors that is devolved, a very important component together with TVET into the counties. And it is the basis of education, especially for the young children who are starting off, and the basis for their development and their educational output in the long run. So I think the petitioners have properly contextualized this petition into this Senate, and gives us another opportunity to interact to ensure that this sector finally gets streamlined. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Sorry, Senators, I didn't talk of time. 3 minutes, because we have about 10 of us, including the chair. That's when I include the chair. Senator Nderitu John Kinywa.
Asante sana Bi Speaker kwa kunipa fursa hii niweze kuchangia kwa hili lalamishi. Mambo ya walimu wa chekechea imekuwa ni donda sugu Bi Speaker, kwa sababu mshahara wao inakuwa ni kulipwa kwao ni kama jambo ambalo halijawekwa katika daftari zetu, inakaa kana kwamba ni jambo linafanywa kiholela. Unapata ukitembea sehemu nyingi humu nchini, unapata wale walimu wa chekechea hawashughulikiwi na lolote. Mshahara wao haulipwi kwa wakati unaofaa. Mshahara wao ni hela kidogo sana ambazo hawezi kutumia kujikimu kimaisha, na wao tunawategemea zaidi kwa wanafunzi wetu ambao wanaanza kujifunza. Na ikiwa wanapopewa jukumu ambalo ni jukumu nyeti katika maisha ya watoto wetu, ilhali serikali zetu hazilipi chochote, wamekuwa wakisumbuka, wamekuwa wakihangaika. Ukitembea kama Laikipia Bi Speaker, utapata ya kwamba wanaweza wakalipwa mwezi huu, wanakaa miezi 4 hawajalipwa, ilhali wao wanafanya kazi yao kwa ushujaa na werendi. Kwa hivyo vile ambavyo ningependa kuomba ni ya kwamba kaunti zetu ziweke pesa, zitenge, ziseme ya kwamba Kenya mzima ikiwa ni walimu wa chekechea wajulikane watalipwa pesa kiango fulani, isikue kana kwamba wanalipwa kiholela. Ukitembea Laikipia wanalipwa 10,000, ukienda Nakuru wanalipwa tofauti. Kwa hivyo vile ambavyo ningependa kupendekeza, nikikubaliana na walalamishi, ni ya kwamba mambo ya walimu hawa iangaliwe kwa undani, na ikiwa ni masuala yao yakuwa yanaangaziwa. Ukipata walimu wa chekechea, hata mtu hana ile tiba ambayo anaweza akaangaliwa na serikali. Kwa hivyo vile ambavyo ningependa kusema, na kwanza hawa COG iwekwe vizuri, ndio kuwe na kulinganisho wote. Ukitembea ni Isiolo, Lamu, ukuje Laikipia, mwalimu anajua nikiandika katika shule ya chekechea nitalipwa kiwango hiki, marupurupu yangu ni yapi, ikiwa ni mambo ya nyumba, kwa sababu wale ndio wanaanza kufundisha watoto. Kama ni mambo ya kutohoa majina, wao ndio wanafunza. Kwa hivyo tunapaswa pe kipao wakati ambapo tunashughulikia wale walimu, kwa sababu wao ndio wamefanya sisi tufike hapa, na wao ndio wanaendelea kutengeneza mambo ya elimu kuanzia pale chini kabla hujaweza kujiunga na hii mambo inasemekana CBC. Asante Bi Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Faria Haji.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. You know, I am shocked that somebody who has been employed from 2014 is being dismissed just like that. There are no laws in this country. And what is the motive of this person who is dismissing them? Who are they trying to create space for? I remember when we passed the new revenue that included the additional money from the national government, I thought the least county got 200 million. So even if there was no any other money, surely that extra money should have been used to pay these teachers. Why is it that, you know, even the petitioners, what they are requesting, I think it needs to be amended, because they need to be reinstated, not to be employed. Because if they are re-employed, that means they will lose all their benefits in terms of pension and everything. Madam Speaker, what I don't understand in our counties is that governors have become, I don't want to seem to say they are the lords of the counties, but they are just taking themselves close to that. Have they forgotten that this money that they are enjoying, they got courtesy of the votes of those people whom they are trying to make their lives difficult? Madam Speaker, the other thing is, I thought ECD teachers are the most important teachers. Because imagine, even potty training a child has its own challenges. It's so difficult. Training a child from the basics until they learn how to read or memorize things, that is somebody who should be taken care by everybody. Otherwise, if this is the kind of treatment they get, that means that we will have a generational gap, people with a generational knowledge gap, which I don't think people of Nyamira deserve that. And I want to ask the House, actually, normally, when you refer things to committees, so because of this electioneering period, they tend to take a lot of time in terms of dealing with these issues. I want Madam Speaker, can I have your attention? Madam Speaker, can I have your attention? My time is finishing. I just want your attention because given the kind of work we have and the time people have in terms of the legislative work vis-a-vis campaigning and all that, I think you should direct that this petition is finalized within time frame so that this House does not go home when this matter has not been resolved. And my question is, if these teachers have been dismissed, who is teaching these children now? And what is the interest of the governor in terms of this decision? Actually, if it was an earlier time, this should have been an avenue to impeach that governor. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Aniri George.
Madam Speaker, thank you for the opportunity, and let me at the very outset thank the petitioners and just give them comfort and assurance that their petition is in the right place. This is the House that will look into this petition and ensure that justice is done. Madam Speaker, ECD is a devolved function, and ECD stands for Early Childhood Development. Early childhood development is the beginning point of education for children. Now, you cannot be nurturing these children into education sector with teachers who are not motivated, not well remunerated. Mr. Speaker, as Senator Faria correctly puts it, if there are any group of teachers that should be well taken care of, then it is the ECD teachers. Madam Speaker, I thought that the teething problem, because this is now a devolved function, it's a new thing, would just prevail for about the first 5 years, and by now this matter should have been resolved. But it's unfortunate that what is happening to the ECD teachers in Nyamira replicates in the whole Republic. I have the same cases, exactly the same cases in my own county, and I'm sure many, many other counties. Madam Speaker, there shouldn't be a disparity in remuneration of these teachers. I know very recently, as a Senate, we passed the ECD bill, which I don't know if it's taken effect. It's now an act. It was given an assent by the President. But I'm informed here by Senator Zani that even with the bill in act, this issue will not be resolved until there's a proper scheme of service which is supposed to be developed by the Council of Governors. The Council of Governors, yes, is supposed to be uniform for the entire Republic. I therefore, Madam Speaker, just want to say this, that Senate being the House in charge of devolution, the committee where this petition will be forwarded to or committed to, besides looking into the salient issues and the prayers that were made by the petitioners, that is a reinstatement of those who were sacked or whose contracts were terminated, they must ensure that the COG is pushed to develop a scheme of service for ECD teachers so that there is no disparity in remuneration amongst these teachers throughout the country. I sympathize with the petitioners and urge the committee to expedite this matter and ensure that these petitioners from Nyamira get justice. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Cherargei. Samson Kiprotich.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to support petitioners from Nyamira County, and it is very sad. I don't know where the law is, because how can you terminate a passadly? I think this is a violation of labor issues, and the governor and the county executive must be told so. It is very unfortunate, and Nyamira, Madam Speaker, is not unique. Even in Nandi, we have similar problems. For example, an ECD teacher is paid 10,000 shillings. What can you do with 10,000 shillings without other benefits? And you know, ECD teachers, Madam Speaker, are the basis, are the foundation of our children who will go to schools. This is the basis of the society, Madam Speaker. So it's unfortunately in Nandi County, the county government pays them 10,000 shillings without any form of allowance. The other day, Madam Speaker, the governor called all ECD teachers to an hotel, told them, if you give me nominations in April, I will review your terms in June. This is not, we should not go to the direction of using stick and carrot or a privilege, Madam Speaker. It is very unfortunate, and I want to say, in fact, Nyamira is better. Nandi is worse. Because how can you tell people, you vote for me for nominations, then I will review your terms, Madam Speaker? It is very unfortunate, because that's a clear violation of labor. And, Madam Speaker, governors should be told, in no uncertain terms, that anything they give out to our people is not a favor. It is not an handout. What Governor Sang of Nandi is doing handout. He just called them, sang to them campaign songs, gave them some chakula, told them if you, and when the ECD teachers wrote them and give us pension, permanent and pensionable, Madam Speaker, and I'm told your county is also working through the hard times, Madam Speaker. It is very unfortunate, Madam Speaker. I think governors must be told, and that is, you know, these are some of the governors that are giving bad name to devolution. And Nandi governor, Stephen Sang, is one of them that is giving them bad name devolution. Because people are saying it is better to be hired by TSC. In fact, we have made ECT teachers nowadays are telling us, why does TSC not hire us? Because of what we are doing. How can you give somebody 10,000 shillings, Madam Speaker? What can they do with it? And it is very unfortunate. I hope the governor of Nyamira must be summoned to the Senate and tell the country, because we passed the ECD law, Madam Speaker. The ECD law was supposed to protect our ECD teachers, Madam Speaker. And what is happening in Nyamira, Madam Speaker, Senator Okongo Mugeni took over from me. One of the issues that were bedeviling Nyamira County, we were listening at that time, was issues of corruption. And corruption does not mean only investment of public funds. Even this is corruption, Madam Speaker, where you are firing somebody after 6 years. Where will they take their children? How will they pay their school fees? How will they survive, Madam Speaker? How will they pay their rent? So Nyamira County Executive must be called out. And it is unfortunate that the current governor, who should have been better, is performing more worse, Madam Speaker. We must call out, Madam Speaker, and tell them, and when Nyamira County Executive, Madam Speaker, is invited to the House, it must be made committee of the whole. Because even Nandi County ECD teachers have similar problems that we must share, Madam Speaker. And I want to say I support this petition and want to look at that we must make serious recommendations against county governments that are violating and abusing labor rights of our ECD teachers. I raise my case and support, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Inima Ketut Musurube.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. And I also thank you for reading the petition to us concerning maltreatment of early childhood teachers in Nyamira County. And I want to say, Honorable Speaker, that what is happening in Nyamira is happening in very many other counties, Honorable Speaker. It is sad that ECD has a silent role to play in the life of children, but it is not given preference when it comes to money allocation. Honorable Speaker, we cannot take education matters for granted, and education matters a lot, and since education matters a lot, we have to make it right from an early stage. You cannot plant a tree, and when it comes from the soil, it's bent, and you imagine one time it will straighten. So when it comes to matters education, it must be straight all the way from early childhood. Honorable Speaker, I'm a member of the Education Committee, and I want to let this House know that the issue of early childhood is an issue that we've addressed many times with the county governments as Committee of Education. The governors have appeared before us, and even the Council of Governors appeared before us just recently to address the issue of ECD. But the revelation we got is that county executives are not keen about early childhood, and I think because they feel that when they invest in early childhood, it does not give them political mileage. But I want to say on the floor of this House is that we cannot politicize education, and we must have it right, and as a Senate, we have to ensure that county executives are doing the right thing. And Honorable Speaker, when it comes to even SRC, it is unfortunate that the package that SRC has recommended is very wanting, but it's because of the job description that came from the stakeholders. There's need to review the SRC policy on early childhood education, and even apart from reviewing, Honorable Speaker, I want to say on the floor of this House that if the county governments are not able to handle ECD, we can have transfer of functions so that ECD is a function of the national government, and it should go also with the monies, because the national government normally allocates a lot of money to county governments, but the county governments need to prioritize ECD, because ECD is a function of the county government, so that in the annual budget they have also monies to pay teachers, they have infrastructure and all that. But it's unfortunate, Honorable Speaker, that even the recommendation and the schemes of service that was approved, there are many counties that have not implemented the schemes of service. And even in the schemes of service, it is unfortunate that teachers will get 8,000. ECD teachers get 8,000 per month. It is very painful, because teachers are actually the parents we have in schools to be role models of our children. So there's need, Honorable Speaker, that to really, I know our Committee of Education is going to give a report on the floor of this House concerning the findings we got, but it's the same finding that
Time up, Senator. Thank you. Senator Mudama Agnes Kavindu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute to this petition from Nyamira. Madam Speaker, I want to say that whatever is happening in Nyamira is not only happening in Nyamira alone. It is happening around and across the country, in all counties, because these teachers are really underpaid, and they are never motivated by anyone. Today, if you walk in a supermarket with 10,000 shillings, you just do a shopping, and you just walk out carrying it with your one hand. And this teacher is supposed to feed our children, pay their school fees, and do everything that any other person is doing as they work, because we work to help our family members. Madam Speaker, I concur with them, and I say that these teachers must be taken care of. And even not only the teachers, even in some counties, the ECD classes are not there. You'll find, like an area I went to in Machakos County, and I found the ECD teachers had requested a chief's office to be used as an ECD classroom. And Madam Speaker, there is money which is allocated for this purpose. And most of the governors are just, they don't care. And Madam Speaker, children of ECD, how they begin, how they are brought up will determine what they'll become in life. So this is a very sensitive issue, and Madam Speaker, I say that the committee that you're going to commit it to must check and even go as further than just the teachers, but check on where the ECD students are being taught from, if there are classes for ECDs. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you,
I
Senator.
support.
Senator Marsayo Stewart Mwachiro.
Asante, Bispika. Bispika, kwanza nataka kutoa kongole kwa walimu ambao walijitoa mhanga kuweza kufundisha watoto wadogo katika skuli za chekechea. Tunaelewa hichi ni chama cha walimu wa skuli za chekechea, ni wanachama wa kile chama cha walimu. Bi Speaker, japokuwa hawa ni watu wa chama, lakini kuzingatia harakati zao ni kwamba waliweza kuachishwa kazi. Speaker, ni jambo la kusikitisha sana kuleta hali ya uchumi mbaya kwenye nyumba za walimu. Walimu hao wana taaluma ile ambao haina wale walimu wengine. Wanaanza kufundisha watoto ikiwa bado ni wachanga sana, hawajajua chochote, hawajajua kusoma. Kwa hiyo ni walimu ambao wanatakana kupewa heko. Lakini jambo la kusikitisha leo tukiona ya kwamba mahali kama kaunti ya Nyamira wanaweza kufuta walimu hawa ambao wanawaelimisha watoto wao kwa sababu ya nia zao binafsi, kuweza kuweka walimu wengine ambao wakifikiria kwamba hawa walimu hawana haki zao. Lakini Bi Speaker, nataka kusema ya kwamba hawa walimu waliofutwa na wamefanya kazi miaka 6 wana haki mbele ya sheria za wafanyikazi. Wana haki ndani ya hii bunge la Senate kuona ya kwamba haki zao hazizami na zimetekelezwa. Bunge hili la Senate tunalo bahati kwa sababu katika hichi kitengo chao cha kwamba wameachishwa kazi, mmoja wetu ikiwa ni mimi, nilikuwa jaji wa mahakama kuu, hasa upande wa wafanyikazi. Kitendo kilichofanywa cha kuwafanya hawa wafanyikazi kupoteza hii kazi yao, Bi Speaker, ni jambo la kusikitisha. Na hivi sasa wako manyumbani, hawana kazi, wanateseka, wengine wana watoto, na vile vile kufutwa kwao kazi sio kwa sababu ya wao kupenda, lakini kwa sababu ya mtu mmoja ama watu wawili watatu mabepari walioketi ndani ya ile county wakaona ya kwamba katika maoni yao hawa walimu wanataka wanafaa kuondolewa kwenye kazi. Tunasema hilo si jambo la usawa. Bi Speaker, hii ni taaluma, ni taarifa muhimu kwetu sisi. Na kama hii ni taarifa muhimu kwetu sisi, ile kamati ambayo inahusikana, ambayo inaweza kuangalia jambo kama hili, iweze kuona ya kwamba haki imetendeka kwa hawa walimu. Na hata ikiwa itawezekana, basi kuregeshwa kazini pia waweze kuregeshwa. Asante Bi Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Githua Ngugi Isaac.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I also want to add my voice on this matter because it's a weighty matter, Madam Speaker. And it's a big shame that the county government has decided not to do their job that they were given by the people of Nyamira. Madam Speaker, all of us are here today, or who we are today, because our teachers, when we were learning how to read and write, those are the people who ensured that they taught us even how to hold a pen. And all of us, I don't think that there's any one of us who can say that they never experienced such a thing. And it's extremely inhuman that a whole county government that has budget can decide to destroy the future of those young people. Because what is happening, Madam Speaker, they are destroying the future of those people. A lot of at that age, that's where someone is shaped. Someone's destiny is shaped, even in terms of how they think, the kind of thinking that they have. If the teachers are demoralized, there is no way they can be able to give 100% to those children. Therefore, Madam Speaker, I want to say that it's extremely shameful, and especially coming from a governor who is perceived to be in Azimio. Us in Azimio, we don't subscribe to such kind of thing, and we want to say this, it's a shame to him. And moving forward, those are the kind of people that we don't want to have in office. I can see someone laughing here, but even the next government of Baba, those characters should be very far from office. And therefore, very far, very far. And when they are called here, Madam Speaker, in the committee of the whole, they should be grilled properly. There is no way somebody can be sleeping hungry, yet they are rendering services. Yet the county government has budget for that. Therefore, Madam Speaker, we need to be firm on this matter. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Pokisho Lesuron.
Madam Speaker, let me also weigh in on this by joining colleagues who have contributed with, first of all, the courage by the Association of ECD Teachers from Nyamira, who have raised the petition. And again, it's their right. Madam Speaker, this petition could have come from any of the 47 counties. There is no exception. If everyone to narrate what's happening in their counties, you'll be shocked. In my own county of West Pokot, 6 months, even more, the ECD teachers have not received their salary. And you wonder why they're being treated like that. Fortunately, Madam Speaker, we have discussed here, we brought a bill, there's a bill that came here on ECD, and hope that that will change the way things are going to look like. I think there should be a standard for ECD teachers. I didn't go to a nursery school of ECD. During my time, there were no ECDs. I think they were there, but I don't think we managed to get into any of those. But I really think, Madam Speaker, that it's very, very important, very, very important that we focus on these ECD teachers. My thought is let the committee that is going to deal with this take up this matter because it affects all counties, no exception. So take it seriously and let's address this matter once and for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Finally, the Senator of Nyamira, Senator Mogeni Eric Okongo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I first want to thank these petitioners who have brought the plight of the ECD teachers in Nyamira to the attention of this House. First, Madam Speaker, if I can expound on what is the problems and troubles that these teachers are facing, is that other than talking about their termination, these were teachers who are employed on contract. In Nyamira, we refer to them as ECD Phase 1 teachers. And Madam Speaker, when their contracts came to an end and they were not given a renewal, legally they were entitled to be paid gratuity, Madam Speaker. But as we speak today, Madam Speaker, these teachers have never been paid. And Madam Speaker, as senators have stated here, these teachers earn 13,500 shillings. But for the last more than 2.5 years, they have never been paid. As you know, Madam Speaker, we had a misfortune in Nyamira. We lost our governor, the late Mzee Nyagarama, and the deputy governor took over as governor. You know, Madam Speaker, if you saw, there is a pay slip that was going around social media. He was paid arrears for all the period he was acting as a governor. He was paid, and he was paid good money. Something you cannot compare with what the poor ECD teachers are asking to be paid. And Madam Speaker, I'm the one who knocked the table there, invoked the name of my mother, Nyamokami, fighting for 600 million shillings to go to Nyamira County. Money that they ought to have, which was being taken from Nyamira to go to other counties. And I can't understand why the governor of Nyamira, Honorable Nyaribo, cannot pay these poor ECD teachers and even renew their contract so that they can serve in Phase 2, Madam Speaker. We even had discussions with the MCAs that they budget so that there is money provided for to convert these teachers into permanent and pensionable. Up to date, Madam Speaker, nothing has happened. Madam Speaker, we don't send money to counties to go into people's pockets. You heard the Senator of Nandi giving reference to the many corruption allegations that have been forwarded to this Senate concerning that count of Nyamira. Madam Speaker, it is so sad that as senators we sit here, we spend many hours negotiating how we should share money to counties. But when it reaches the counties, it never serves the purpose it's meant to. That is to pay teachers like these ECD teachers, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I hope that this House is going to summon the governor for Nyamira to appear before this House, explain, number one, why he has never paid gratuity to these ECD teachers. Number two, to explain to the House why he has not converted the terms of these teachers to be permanent and pensionable. And I hope he will deal with this issue before he arrives here. And I'm asking my MCAs also. These are the motions we want to receive on the floor. We deal with them properly. Because if you cannot, Madam Speaker, have sympathy for Kenyans who are earning 13,500, which I'm told is money at times that is budgeted for the lunch of executives. It is inhuman. In labor practices, these are what we call unfair labor practices, where you want to oppress the poor, the lowly, from your position as a chief executive. I hope, Madam Speaker, this matter will be given the seriousness it deserves, and we highlight it, and the committee that will be tasked should remind the governor that, as Senator Aniri mentioned, we passed the ECD Act. I used to serve in the Education Committee, and I'm aware that it has been enacted into law, so it is law. What we require is governors to put the interests of our ECD teachers at heart, pay them well, employ them under permanent and pensionable terms so that they are not subjected to suffering. Finally, Madam Speaker, we should look for a way of finishing this matter once and for all. And the best way, Madam Speaker, to do so is to summon the Council of Governors to appear before the Senate and collectively give an undertaking to the House that all county governments will put in place a good scheme of service for the ECD teachers in all the 47 counties, because we have heard even what is happening in other counties like Nandi. So I hope that the committee that will be dealing with this matter will summon Council of Governors to appear before us so that we agree on the best way forward on how to address the plight that is facing ECD teachers. But I support, Madam Speaker, this petition. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 2321, the petition should be committed to the relevant standing committee for its consideration. In this case, I direct that the petition be committed to the Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare. Honorable Senators, I'm also aware that we have similar petitions from other counties, including my own county, Uasin Gishu, and we would like to direct all of them. Bomet has been handled by the same committee, so we hope that this committee will seriously take time to look at these petitions so that we don't have to read the others. But looks like in the whole country, a lot of ECD teachers are sending their petitions on these very items. Honorable Senators, in terms of Standing Order 2322, the committee is required in not more than 60 calendar days from the time of reading the prayer to respond to the petitioner by way of a report addressed to the petitioner and laid on the table of the Senate. I thank you. Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Leader of Majority, Senator Bogisho.
Madam Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the Senate today, 2nd March 2022. 1, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Kirinyaga County Assembly Mortgage Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. 2, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement Kirinyaga County Executive Car Loan and Mortgage Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. 3, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Kirinyaga County Executive Alcoholic Drinks and Substance Abuse Control Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. 4, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Kirinyaga County Emergency Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. 5, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Rukanga Water and Sanitation Company Limited for the year ended 30th June 2020. 6, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Isiolo Water and Sewerage Company Limited for the year ended 30th June 2020. 7, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Isiolo County Assembly Car Loan Scheme Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. 8, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Homa Bay County Executive Car Loan and Mortgage Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. 9, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Homa Bay County Assembly Car Loan and Mortgage Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. 10, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of the Homa Bay County Education Bursary Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. 11, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Vihiga County Assembly Car Loan and Mortgage Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. 12, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Vihiga Municipal Board for the year ended 30th June 2020. 13, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Vihiga County Trade and Enterprise Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. 14, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of the Demonstration Farms Fund, KISI, for the year ended 30th June 2020. 15, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Gusii Water and Sanitation Company Limited for the year ended 30th June 2020. 16, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Embu County Assembly Car Loan and Mortgage Members Scheme Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. 17, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of the Embu County Youth Trust Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. 18, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Siaya County's Education Bursary Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. 19, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Siaya County Assembly Car Loan and Mortgage Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. 20, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Kisumu County Car and Mortgage Scheme Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. 21, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Kisumu County Assembly Car Loan and Mortgage Scheme Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. 22, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Kisumu County Education Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. 23, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Kericho County Alcoholic Drinks Control Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. 24, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Meru County Investment and Development Corporation for the year ended 30th June 2020. 25, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Meru County Alcoholic Drinks Control Board for the year ended 30th June 2020. 26, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Meru County Microfinance Corporation for the year ended 30th June 2020. 27, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Meru County Assembly Members Car Loan and Housing Scheme Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. 28, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Marsabit County Emergency Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. 29, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Kericho Water and Sanitation Company Limited for the year ended 30th June 2020. 30, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Kericho County's Executive Staff Car Loan Scheme Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. 31, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Kericho County Agricultural Sector Development Support Program 2 Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. 32, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Kericho County Enterprise Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. 33, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Sibo Water and Sanitation Company Limited for the year ended 30th June 2020. 34, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Migori County Executive Car Loan Mortgage Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. 35, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Tharaka-Nithi County Emergency Fund for the year ended 30th June 2020. 36, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Ngagaka Water and Sanitation Company Limited for the year ended 30th June 2020, and 37, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Imeda Water and Sanitation Company Limited for the year ended 30th June 2020. And I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Honorable Senators, the first notice is by Senator Abshira Lake, but she has sent word that we should defer it to tomorrow. She's not in a position to. So the next one is by Senator Architect Sylvia Kasanga.
Madam Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion that whereas Kenya is a multi-ethnic and multiracial country with rich and diverse cultural resources such as traditional medicine and foods, arts, craft, music, dances, dress, among others, aware that the Constitution in its preamble acknowledges the cultural diversity of the Kenyan people who are determined to live in peace and unity as one indivisible sovereign nation, whilst Article 11 of the Kenyan Constitution recognizes culture as a foundation of the nation, noting that while the Department of Culture under the Ministry of Sports, Culture and Heritage has been playing some of the key roles in promotion of cultural integration, formulation of policies and standards that will guide the development of culture, little information has been made available to the Kenyan public. Acknowledging that culture performs a significant role in the life of a child, the cultural background in which a child is brought up affects the totality of his or her life's activities, and concerned that our children are losing their sense of identity due to negative influences, due to inadequate cultural identity catalyzed by globalization, which has led to catastrophic consequences to our next generation, as experienced in our country, where a majority of our young people are showing symptoms of feeling suicidal, anxious, feeling of hopelessness, anger, violence, feeling isolated and paranoia. Now, therefore, the Senate urges the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Sports, Culture and Heritage to formulate cultural development policies and initiatives to inculcate stronger community values, safeguard Kenya's heritage, recognize local heroes, and promote socio-cultural opportunities in the counties. And 2, formulate strategies to create an enabling environment for protection and promotion of diversity of cultural expressions in all counties. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
Honorable Senators, we have statement pursuant to Standing Order 47-1, and the first one is by Senator George Kaniri.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. I rise pursuant to the provisions of our standing order.
Senator Wario, are you on request or on a point of order, because you have not pressed the right button?
Thank you, Speaker. I am on a request. I wanted to comment on the cultural things, but you went ahead and gave another statement.
Oh yeah, she was giving a notice of motion, so it is coming back.
Oh yes, okay.
Yeah,
Thank
this
you.
was just a notice of motion, Mheshimiwa, so it will come back Senator Aniri.
Thank you. I can see Senator Wario is really eager to go on the culture motion. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to our provisions of our standing order, number 47, paragraph 1, to make a statement regarding the unfavorable balance of payment status of Kenya in the international trade. Madam Speaker, Kenya is an important player in the global international trade. It is an important gateway to East Africa through the port of Mombasa and is set to play even bigger role through the Lamu port, South Sudan, Ethiopia transport, that's the LAPSET corridor project. Other important international trade partners to Kenya in terms of volumes of goods and size of transactions are China, which is the leading one, Madam Speaker, number 1 on the list, Britain, United States of America, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, among others. Madam Speaker, in the year 2021, Kenya's total export earnings stood at 739 billion Kenyan shillings. This is in the year 2021. Madam Speaker, this is quite impressive and goes to show that we have very good potential as a country. However, Madam Speaker, what taints these impressive figures is that 60% of these export earnings was spent in importing China-made goods alone, not including imports from other countries that Kenya trades with. Imports from China alone hit a high of 441 billion Kenyan shillings in the year 2021, a 22% jump from the previous year, and this has been a continuing trend. Madam Speaker, this means that Kenya paid China alone 60 shillings for every 100 shillings it earned from selling items like flowers, tea, coffee to Europe to buy Chinese products such as electronics, textiles, household goods, etc. Let us not forget the additional 107 billion shillings in debt repayments to China in the period, effectively raising the total forex outflows to Beijing to 74% of our total export earnings, 74%. It is evident in these figures that something needs to be done. Cheaper imports from China, which includes industrial and construction machinery, consumer and capital goods, electronics, clothing items, and commercial vehicles, have edged out local products and imports from other countries in recent years, dimming the growth of Kenya's industrial sector. This has in turn caused a lot of unemployment in the country since the share of jobs in the economy has fallen. Madam Speaker, Kenya has tried to put effort in exports to China through agricultural produce such as avocados, but this has proven difficult because Beijing has imposed such stringent measures in receiving imports from Kenya in order to control the fruit fly pest. This trade imbalance between the two countries is a major factor in Kenya's widening trade deficit. This is not only unfair, but also not a good way of creating good partnership and encouraging inter-country relations. Madam Speaker, I have said it over and again in this House that Kenya is a very blessed nation. We have very many natural resources, manpower, and skills at our disposal. Why is it then that we end up spending so much money importing goods and services which we are capable of providing for ourselves. It is a shame to see our youth languishing in poverty and wasting away because they have no way out. We have the ability to empower our youth to do the very jobs that we are outsourcing. Through this, we will not only promote our industries, but also remove our people from the grips of poverty and hopelessness. Madam Speaker, one of Kenya's biggest imports is petroleum. In the year 2012, there were plans to start a petroleum development levy, a stabilization fund, and to build fuel tanks as long-term solutions to fuel importation. How far are we with these plans? It is a shame that we spend billions of shillings on resources that we as a country have the capability to produce and provide for ourselves while our people die in poverty. When we outsource the Chinese, to build our infrastructure, they come with their own manpower. Madam Speaker, even China is doing everything possible to empower their country. Why can't we follow suit? I am certain it is not because Kenyans do not have the ability, but because we have not provided the proper opportunities and conditions for them. Look at the companies such as those in the EPZ. They produce high-quality clothes, which they export to other countries. These same clothes are then imported back to the country at double the price that they were exported. The same happens to agricultural products such as coffee. This shows that truly we have the capacity to be self-sufficient in some sectors of the economy, in fact, most sectors of the economy. Madam Speaker, it is time to start promoting our own industries. We have to start having faith in our own products and services and take great pride in them. We need to drastically reduce our imports and take Singapore as our benchmark in terms of self-reliance. We need to build more technical universities and encourage our youth to take technical courses by changing the negative and derogatory image that most people have about manual laborers. Let us start building our own houses and stop outsourcing and subcontracting foreigners to do the jobs for us. Let us do all we can to be self-sufficient and self-reliant. Counties are pivotal in realizing this dream, as has been shown by some counties. God willing, this is one of my agenda when I take over the governorship of Vihiga after the next forthcoming general elections. I encourage also other counties to follow suit. Madam Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Senator. The next statement under 47-1 is by Senator Gertrude Musuruve-Inima. Yes, what's your point of order, Senator Kasanga? Although you are pressed, a request, not a point of order.
Are we not, Madam Speaker, will you give us an opportunity to give some comments on that statement from Senator Kaniri?
Normally, 47-1 does not attract debates. So let me allow her to read so that I'll give you a very short time to comment on both. So Senator Musuruve, statement concerning Zero Discrimination Day. Please assist her with her statement. this one.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. But kindly just allow me to make a comment on the statement by Senator Haneri.
Read yours first.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 47-1 to make a statement on an issue of general topical concern on Zero Discrimination Day. Honorable Speaker, it is an annual day celebrated by the United Nations, UN, and other international organizations every 1st of March. The day aims to promote equality before the law and in practice throughout all of the member countries of the United Nations. Zero Discrimination Day highlights how people can become informed about and promote inclusion, compassion, peace, and above all, a movement for change. This day is celebrated to mark the right for everyone to live a full and productive life and live it with dignity. The theme for Zero Discrimination Day this year is remove laws that harm, create laws that empower. This theme is a continuation of last year's theme, that is End Inequalities. The Zero Discrimination Day was first celebrated on March 1st, 2014. Honorable Speaker, throughout the globe, there are millions of people who suffer silently as a result of discrimination. There are those that live with HIV and are overtly discriminated in many ways, which affects their self-worth and dignity as human beings. In solidarity with this year's theme, UNAIDS is highlighting the urgent need to act against discriminatory laws. There are people who have cancer and some who are cancer survivors. Discrimination, even at their places of work, is real. Most of them hardly get promotions at their place of work. However hard they may work, they are viewed as employees whose lifespan is short-lived. People with disabilities are equally discriminated. In instances when they are productive, their works may not be amplified because of societal perception on PWDs. Honorable Speaker, in all these instances, such kind of discrimination deny people human rights, fundamental freedoms, and undue restrictions on how they live their lives simply because of who they are or what they do. States have a moral and legal obligation to remove discriminatory laws and to enact laws that protect people from discrimination. Everyone has a responsibility to hold states accountable, call for change, and contribute to efforts to remove discriminatory laws. Kenya is a signatory to international laws that seek to enhance human dignity and equality for all. For instance, the Convention on the Rights of Children that was adopted in 1989 and came into force in 1990, the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, which Kenya signed and ratified in 2008, the Abuja Health Declaration of 2001 that seeks to ensure everyone, regardless of race, gender, ethnicity, has the highest attainable standards of health, among other laws. These laws are enshrined in the Constitution of Kenya, 2010, Article 28, 54, and 43(1) respectively, which we must all seek to defend as leaders. Honorable Speaker, as the world celebrates this day, it is important to note that women are equally discriminated in politics and governance. In many parts of the world, especially Africa, very few women have managed to rise to the very top. Many parliaments have not been able to adhere to the not more than 2/3 gender rule, and women are underrepresented in parliaments. Societal perception of women and leadership is a huge contributory factor, which is compounded with a lack of monetary component to help women secure political positions, and people with disabilities are disadvantaged more than thrice. Their physiological makeup, lack of resources, lack of adequate security, heightened by the negative societal perception, make it extremely difficult for persons with disabilities to catapult in politics and governance. Honorable Speaker, as we mark this day, I would like to urge legislators nationally and globally to make a deliberate attempt in ensuring that they take urgent action in ending all discriminatory laws and replace them with laws that foster and enhance equality and equity for all. I call upon all levels of government, both national and county, to ensure availability of opportunities and socioeconomic resources in both levels of government to enhance human dignity and promote parity among all people despite their gender, race, ethnicity, and physical or mental state. Happy belated Zero Discrimination Day, everyone. I thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
Honorable
Now I'll
Speaker,
give
kindly.
you 2 minutes to comment on Senator Aniris. Then I'll give Senator Kasanga the same 2 minutes.
I can go ahead, Honorable Speaker.
2 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you also for the minutes you've given me. And allow me to thank Senator Haniri for bringing on the floor of this House a very, very important issue on trade, tourism, and all that. Honorable Speaker, when it comes to tourism and trade, it is a big national economic revenue earner. About 40% of our revenue comes from this sector. But Honorable Speaker, in as much as it is a big economic earner, we need to ask ourselves, what exactly is it for Kenyans? I remember Senator Moi came up with the local content bill, and even when we are doing our trades in terms of importing and exporting, we need to ask ourselves, what benefit is there for our youths? What benefits is there for us as Kenyans? Like, for instance, Honorable Speaker, there are things we can make as Kenya. I don't see why we import things that Kenyans themselves can make. When we buy Kenya, we make Kenya. So, Honorable Speaker, we have to really ensure that we are coming up with this agenda and making sure that it blossoms. So I hope when this issue comes, it will not come to a committee, but my honest thought is that even the ministry concerned should come before us and give us the strategies they put in place to protect our local manufacturers, to protect Kenyans in terms of trade, Honorable Speaker, so that what can be found in Kenya should not be imported. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I congratulate Senator Haniri for this statement.
Thank you, Senator Kasanga.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. And thank you, Senator Haniri, for giving us that statement and bringing forth to us to understand this imbalance in trade that is there between Kenya and Beijing, who we are bleeding a lot of our hard-earned money towards, and yet we are not getting the same out of them. And I wish actually this statement would have gone to committee, because it would have been interesting to interrogate the relevant ministry to understand what it is that they're actually doing about trying to get some fairness in this imbalance of trade. And even as we speak of how we need to empower Kenyans so that we can be more industrialized, we have to be clear on what is our foreign policy when we go into trade with foreign countries. We have to protect the interests of our country as well. So it would have been interesting to hear what the relevant ministry is doing about some of these things, and to see what policies are in place actually when it comes to protecting of Kenyans and protecting ourselves as Kenyans. The way you see China protecting its people by putting a stop to the imports of avocado is the same way we would want to see what are the steps and measures our people here in Kenya, we are being protected from any substandard, Chinese goods and, and things like that. Because we're always having a conversation about China goods that really flood our markets and also drive our people out of business. But as we look at this, and as we look at how Kenya, we can entrench more Buy Kenya, Build Kenya, let us also look into our continent. We have now the African Continental Free Trade Area agreement that 36 African countries have ratified, and Kenya being one of them. And this is an avenue for Africa as well to build itself. And we need to look at how we are going to really maximize on this sort of agreement where we can do business with our neighbors, with our partners, and make sure we make Africa more competitive on the global stage, because we can do it together. And one of the things that I was just, reading through the Africa Trade Agreement, and one of the things that comes into the fore is how we need to empower our citizens through education. And Madam Speaker, just now we were speaking about ECD and what the county governments are doing to our ECD teachers, and we are saying now that is the wrong direction that a country is taking when we don't prioritize education of our children and building of skills into our people so that we can upscale our, our capacity as Kenyans and, build our capacity for trade. So I want to thank Senator Kaniri for that statement. I could have said a lot more, Madam Speaker, but I thank you.
Thank you, Senator Githua. Ngugi Isaac.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I almost thought you've forgotten your favorite son, but thank you for the opportunity. I want to...
Nobody forgets their sons.
Thank you. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate my senior, Senator Haniri, for such a wonderful statement. And Madam Speaker, I also want to say that I also do not see sense in us importing those goods that can be locally produced. Madam Speaker, 400 billion going to one country called China is a lot of money. If this money, even a quarter of it, if we can have it circulating in our economy, can be a game changer. Madam Speaker, as it is right now, to import things or to export things to China is extremely hard, extremely hard. Yet when we are importing their things from China, it's like we have no strict measures to protect even our people. Madam Speaker, our people, if supported well, things that we import, such as even toothpicks, things that we can ourselves produce as a country, can be something that can be something of great impact. Madam Speaker, there is one man called Mudhongo, Anthony Mudhongo. That guy has started a company that manufactures USB cables. And that guy started his business with only 1,500 Kenya shillings. That guy went to Uwezo Fund. He was given 80,000. He expanded his business. After that, now he has applied for around 800,000, and he has been given. Madam Speaker, a young man in this country has decided to be the first person to produce USB cables, yet he is not being empowered as he should be. If this man, through the relevant ministry, can be empowered, importing these substandard USB cables, and I know it's one of the biggest issues that we have, because everyone has a phone nowadays, and they have cables which you use for power bank. Those cables you use for 1 month or 2 months, and then it is off. It is destroyed and damaged. Yet some of us have been using Anthony's cables for over a year without damage. Yet we are not supporting such people the way we should, in the manner that it should be.
Please allow 1 minute for my favorite son.
Thank you. Therefore, Madam Speaker, we need to ensure that we encourage these people, those, especially the young people, because he's a young man, very innovative. If we can empower him, and then when he has the capacity, say there is nothing that there will not be having anybody importing what can be locally produced. And Madam Speaker, also this speaks to issues of loyalty. A week ago, I met a certain lady, beautiful dress, and I told her, I love your dress. It must be made from Kenya. And he said, no, this is an import from US. I don't wear anything that is locally produced. Meaning, even as our people, we do not believe in ourselves. That's why even KFC have the audacity to import potatoes when locally produced potatoes are rotting in the farm. And then we buy at a very expensive, at a very high cost. These are the things, Honorable Speaker, we should look into moving forward. I thank you.
Senator Gorit Juma, Maria.
Asante Speaker kwa kunipatia nafasi. Mr. Speaker, naunga mkono statement ya Senior Khaniri. Kwa kweli, hakika, sisi kukuza mali yetu kama wa Kenya na pia talanta zetu ndani ya Kenya ni kitu muhimu kuliko kuleta vitu kutoka nje. Hasa biashara nyingi imekuwa ni biashara ya watu wa kutoka nje, hasa wa China katika nchi ya Kenya. Na kwa kweli vile seneta mwenzangu alivyosema, sisi pia wa Kenya tumeingia katika ubumbuazi ya akili ya kwamba vitu vya Kenya ni vitu ambavyo havifai. Ndio kwa sababu wengine wanasema hawezi vaa nguo ambazo zinatoka Kenya mpaka wavae nguo za nje. Kwa hivyo kukuza talanta zetu na biashara yetu ndani ya Kenya na pia kuinua maisha ya Wakenya, hasa wale ambao wanafanya biashara ndogo ndogo, na kuuza pia mali ya Kenya ndani ya Kenya, itakuwa ni desturi kubwa na pia itakuwa ni ya manufaa kubwa kuliko sisi tuangalie ya kwamba vitu vya Kenya na talanta za Kenya na biashara ya Kenya ni vitu ambavyo ni duni na tuweze kuweka vitu za China. Ndio kwa sababu unaona wa China wameleta biashara zile kubwa kubwa wamezishikilia mpaka siku hizi wanataka kuuza hata mandazi ndani ya Kenya. Kwa hivyo mimi ninaunga mkono statement ambayo imetolewa na Senior Khaniri. Asante kwa kunipatia nafasi.
Thank you, Senator Juma. We commit that statement to Committee on Tourism, Trade and Industrialization. Next statement. Senator Kasanga.
Mr. Speaker, if you'll just indulge me a little to give a bit of background to my statement, I'll just take a minute. This came to my attention from some of the stakeholders who work closely with NACADA, which is the National Authority for the Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse. And Mr. Speaker, the statement today refers to standards that were created, standards for care that were created by NACADA. And they had two sets of standards. They had standards that were created in 2009, and they developed minimum standards of care, and they did this with proper consultation with industry players, and they incorporated several process points that ensured adequate public participation had been done in the creation of those standards. And Mr. Speaker, it looks like those standards were revised in 2021, and there's not enough proof to suggest that there was adequate public participation that was undertaken in creation of these new standards. And Mr. Speaker, we have said it over and above in this house here that public participation is not a privilege. It is a significant part of the processes that happen as per our Constitution, and because of this, I raise this statement. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 48-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Health regarding the alleged lack of engagement of stakeholders in the development of the Kenya standards on management of persons with substance use disorders by the National Authority for the Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse, NACADA. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, explain the process that was followed during the development of the Kenya standards on management of persons with substance use disorders. 2, provide details of the people and organizations involved as stakeholders as outlined in Section 5 of the National Authority for Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse Act, and whether the said organizations are qualified to develop the standards. And 3, explain why the Rehab Owners Association, the International Society of Substance Use Prevention and Treatment Professionals Kenya, that is ISSUP Kenya, the International Society of Substance Use Prevention and Treatment Professionals, which is ISSUP International, Addiction Prevention and Recovery Association of Kenya, among other professionals who are the main groups affected by these standards, were allegedly not involved or informed of the development of the standards. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Senator Gertrude Msurve.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I stand to support the statement by Senator Kasanga on the use of public participation on the review of substance abuse by stakeholders. Honorable Speaker, public participation is very important, and it is a mandatory requirement that is even enshrined in our constitution. And I want to say, Honorable Speaker, when it comes to substance abuse, we see it live, even in our media. Sometimes there are some movies that come out that are shown during time when children are watching, when you see people smoking, drinking, and sometimes there are foreign movies also that come in with teachings that seem to, support substance abuse. So there is need for all stakeholders to be brought on board. Even parents are great stakeholders when it comes to public participation. Even teachers themselves are key stakeholders when it comes to, public participation. Psychologists are also, medics are also important when it comes to public participation, because the essence of public participation is to have an enriching environment where policies, bills, and whatever is being fronted, is enriched and becomes better for the use of, our citizens. Honorable Speaker, and I want to comment that when it comes to substance abuse, addiction is really rife. There are some people who get addicted to substance abuse, and once they're addicted, especially youth, they become inactive. They're not able to be productive members of this society. So I think this concern by Senator Sylvia Kasanga is not a concern that should be taken for granted. It is a concern that should be taken to the relevant committee, so that even this review is done afresh, and then key stakeholders even participate in coming up with the review. Honorable Speaker, I support what Senator Kasanga said, because most of our youths, quite a number of them who abuse, drugs, when you look at them, you just find they are walking shells. They are not even able to do anything, and the ones who eventually become mentally affected. And Sylvia Kasanga has talked about the mental bill, and sometimes it is brought about by this mental addiction on drugs, Honorable Speaker. So we have to arrest the situation and ensure that public participation is done by all stakeholders, Honorable Speaker, so that we come up with a review that is accredited, a review that has actually stood the test of time, Honorable Speaker. I support.
Senator Wario Gorich Juma.
Asante Speaker kwa kunipatia nafasi. Nami ninaunga mkono arifa ambayo imetolewa na Senator Kasanga. Kwa kweli Speaker, uraibu wa vitu za kisasa hasa kwa vijana imekuwa ni changamoto katika jamii. Kwa kweli utaona kila mahali kuna uraibu wa aina, na hii uraibu nyingi ni vitu kama pombe vile na vitu kadha wa kadha, na hasa ile jamii ambayo tungengojea miaka zijazo, ambayo ni vijana wa leo, wameingia katika ukasumba ya kuingia katika ulevi ama uraibu ya vitu tofauti. Na kwa hakika hawa vijana wanakuwa wazembe katika kazi zao. Na ukiangalia vizuri, uzembe ambao unafanywa na vijana wa siku hizi ni katika ulevi ama uraibu ambao vitu tofauti ambao wanatumia. Na hii kama haitafanywa, iangaliwe kwa kina kabisa, na iangaliwe iweze kufanyiwa kazi ambayo hawa vijana watakoma katika uraibu ya vitu tofauti, basi siku zijazo tutakuja kupata jamii ambayo haitafanya kazi, na utenda kazi, Mr. Speaker, itakuwa ya chini sana. Kenya itajaa watu wazembe, watu ambao hawatafanya kazi ili kuzalisha mazao shambani. Hata uzembe huu umeingia kwa wafugaji pia. Hata wale wafugaji, ile ufugaji Bwana Speaker, ambayo mimi na wewe sasa hivi tunafanya, wale vijana ambao wako nyuma hawawezi wakafanya huo ufugaji, sababu wameingia katika ukusumba ya ulevi na uraibu ya vitu tofauti. Hii statement kusema kweli, Bwana Spika, inafaa ipelekwe katika kamati ambayo iweze kufanya kazi, iweze kujadiliwa kwa kina kabisa, iangaliwe ni nini tunaweza fanya ili uraibu ambao sahihi unaendelea hasa kwa vijana, kwa wale youth. Ukienda hasa kule mbao wa pwani kule, utakuta watu wameingia katika biashara mbaya ya vitu vya kutoka nje. Na kuna watu ambao wamejitajirisha, Bwana Spika, kupitia kuuza hizi mihadarati ili hawa vijana wetu wawe wazembe na waingie katika ulevi ya vitu ambazo kimombo mnaita substance abuse, ambayo mimi ninaona tutakuja kusalia katika jamii ambayo ni jamii wazembe, ambao wote watakuwa walevi, hawatakuwa na utendakazi, hawatakuwa mashambani, hawatakuwa katika ufugaji, hawatakuwa katika biashara, lakini watakuwa wazembe wakikaa chini ya miti wakingojea ya kwamba mambo yatatendeka kimiujiza, na ambayo hayatatendeka ila dunia hii na nchi hii iwe ni nchi ya tendakazi. Asante, naunga mkono Bwana Spika.
Asante Senator Ngori Juma. Nimesikia ukisema unawaita wazembe, lakini mimi ndania utasema wale ni wagonjwa kwa sababu hawafanyi kazi yoyote, wanategemea pengine wengine wafanye. Alafu Senator Samson Cherargei. Is it a statement? You want to read the statement or you want to comment? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for this opportunity. From the onset, I want to commend Senator Kasanga for this timely statement. I think most of the young people, the biggest threat that we are facing as a country is the substance abuse, especially in the coastal part and most of our towns, Madam Speaker. The alcohol and drug abuse continue to be a threat to now and the future generations, because most of the young people are becoming zombies. They are becoming non-productive at their prime age, which continues to threaten even the growth of population in this country, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is unfortunate that non-engagement of key stakeholders that should have assisted in rehabilitation, and there are many stories that many Kenyans have gone under the rehab because of drug abuse, alcoholic abuse, and they have been able to recover. The process of ensuring that these people are well catered for is a basic right that should be guaranteed and guarded. And any procedure of legislation, the law must be followed to the letter. And one of the key agenda, or one of the salient features of Constitution 2010, Mr. Speaker, is the role of public participation. Any organization, be it private or public, or whoever you are, public participation is ingredient. Even in your own house, you must do public participation because it's now part of the consensus that you are building. But when you have an agency that goes ahead and does not involve, Mr. Speaker, other stakeholders, it is very disappointing. Yet we are celebrating the gains that the Constitution have made, that public participation in any decision that you make that will affect public must be included. And therefore, when you look at the many professions that should have been, standards should have been allowed, because at the end of the day, and you know, when you watch, Mr. Speaker, I think it is the American, when they're advertising their drugs, they normally tell you it can do this, and then at the end there they tell you the consequences. So it is important. I know we are struggling with the issue of drug abuse, issues of heroin and cocaine, even in this city, in the major cities in the country. Even some of these people have succeeded to infiltrate in the villages, where you get a young man, our people are dying because of drugs, Mr. Speaker. And even the economy is affected, because when you have a reproductive age, Mr. Speaker, not working, you can imagine that we will not be able to generate wealth as a country. And they say a healthy nation is a wealthy nation. So, Mr. Speaker, I hope this matter shall be done with the committee of the whole, because this is a cross-cutting issue. It is affecting everybody, whether you come from, you are a senator of any other county, whether a city senator here in Nairobi or in Nandi or anywhere. Mr. Speaker, I think it is very important. And this issues that Senator Kasanga has raised needs proper attention, and we hope the committee concerned that has been directed to, I don't know whether it is JLAC or health, that this matter should be addressed, because I think also it's part of mental health. And I want to thank Senator Kasanga. She has been a champion and she has distinguished herself. She has distinguished herself in this house. When the history of this house shall be read, Mr. Speaker, one name will feature prominently in issues of mental health. That will be Senator Sylvia, Architect Senator Sylvia Kasanga. And I don't know why the president should give him a commendation, Mr. Speaker. It should not be we awarding people because of political expediency. Such people who have withstood and ensured that they have stand with mental health. And Senator Kasanga should also, by excellence, thank me. Because when I was the chair, one of the bills that we moved to court to protect was a mental health bill. So I should also receive some acclamation for also participating and midwifing the process. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Chergey. And stop blowing your trumpet. Let somebody else do it for you. The statement stand committed to Committee of Health. Next statement, Senator Chergey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Senate requests for statement on the increase in the cost of construction of the Nairobi Expressway by additional 7.6 billion Kenya shillings. You remember initially this project was supposed to cost 68 billion. And I've seen this one correct. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 48-1 to seek a statement from the Committee on Roads and Transportation on the increase in the cost of construction of Nairobi Expressway. In the statement, the committee should, 1, state why the cost of construction of Nairobi Expressway is now projected to be 72.8 billion, which is higher by 7.6 billion than the initial cost of 65.2 billion stated by the Kenya National Highways Authority, Kenya. Number 2, provide the reasons for the conflicting figures for the construction provided by China Communications Construction Company, or CCC, the parent firm to China Road and Bridge Corporation, revealed while undertaking its regulatory filing, and Kenya, which stated as much less amount. Number 3, Mr. Speaker, clarify whether the contract had escalation costs, stating the amount projected for escalation and variation on the construction of this expressway. So, Speaker, the 4th, provide a clear timeline to project completion, given that the Cabinet Secretary for Transport, Infrastructure, Housing, Urban Development and Public Works had indicated that the project would be completed by December 2021. In view of the effect of the project on businesses, Mr. Speaker, it should have been completed last year, that's 2021. In view of the effect of the project on businesses, and you know many businesses, Mr. Speaker, have been disrupted while this expressway has been constructed, especially along Mombasa Road, due to the serious traffic jam on the road, and there have been cases where people have stayed in the Mombasa jam, Mr. Speaker, up to even around 2 a.m. And finally, Mr. Speaker, provide a comprehensive report on cost variation in all road construction projects under Kenya National Highways Authority from 2018 to date, stating the amounts in variation on these, on the various projects that variation has been done. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Waria.
Asante Speaker kwa kunipatia nafasi. Mr. Speaker, expressway, Wakenya wengi kwanza wako katika giza kujua hii mambo ya expressway inakaa namna gani na ni nini inafanyika. na kwa kweli hii expressway ambayo saa hii inatoka huko uwanja wa ndege ikipita hapa nyuma ya Parliament ndio barabara yangu hasa. Mimi ninatoka nyumbani kuja hapa Parliament, na wengi wa Kenya wananiuliza hii expressway inatengenezwa kwanza ni vitu aina gani, na hii maana ya express ni nini? Kiswahili basi express ni kitu ambayo haina mahali ya kusimama, ni kupita moja kwa moja. Na Mr. Speaker, wewe ni Mswahili, ninajua unaweza pengine ukaifafanua vizuri katika hii mambo ya expressway. Hii expressway tujuavyo Disemba mwaka jana ilikuwa ni ikamilike na itumike, lakini mpaka leo tunaona bado watu wanaendelea kujenga huko. Hasa nafikiria hii project ni ya Wachina. Tungetaka kwanza kujua hii expressway kutoka kwa kamati tekelezi waweze kuchambua na waweze wajua ya kwamba pesa hii ambayo imeongezwa kwa sababu gani. Ya pili, kwa nini vile tulivyokuwa tunaelezwa Disemba itakuwa hii kazi itaisha, bado haija kuisha. Na tukiangalia wacha hiyo Disemba, hata hii Disemba ingine nafikiri hii kazi haitakamilika, sababu sisi tulikuwa tunataka kuona hasa matunda ya Rais Uhuru. Pengine atakuja kutuonyesha hii expressway magari ikiwa inapita juu. Mimi nimehofia Bwana Speaker, rais wetu, ile kazi si mbaya, ile kazi ni mzuri vile inavyoendelea. Ni kama hiyo barabara imepata gorofa, watu wanatembea chini ya gorofa, lakini huko juu bado utendakazi na usafiri haujaanza. Na pia Wanakenya wengi wako katika giza, hawajui hii gorofa itaanza lini, na wengi wanaulizana kweli hii gorofa. Wengine wanasema kuna majumba zimejengwa ya kulipia pesa pale mbele. Sasa wanaulizana, sisi hii gorofa tutakuja kutembea juu ama tutatembea chini? Sasa hasa haijajulikana ni Wakenya gani ndio wataenda huko juu, kwa sababu kuna malipo, na ni wangapi watatembea huku chini. Kwa hivyo tunataka ufafanuzi kwa kina kabisa. Vile mambo wanavyosema in black and white, waweze kujua kama kweli Wakenya watakanyaga kule juu, watakimbia. Pesa ni ngapi ile ya kukimbia nayo kule juu? Na kama huna utafanya nini? Na pia hii kazi itakuja kukuisha lini? Ili pia isiwe ikawa President Uhuru Kenyatta amefanya kazi mzuri na hawezi launch ile kazi, ipitwe na wakati ije ilaunchiwe katika serikali ijayo. Kama ingekuwa hiyo kazi ingekwisha na aende ai launch, ingekuwa tungesema vile Baba Kibaki ametengeneza ile super highway, na sisi mpaka leo tukikanyaga ile super highway tukielekea Thika tunasema ndio, na tunakumbuka Baba Kibaki popote pale alipo, tunasema kweli hii super highway imetengenezwa na Baba Kibaki, na hakuna pesa unazotozwa ukiwa unakimbia huko juu. Sasa hii nimesikia tayari wa China wanatengeneza vioski ya kulipa pesa. Na pia naona statement ya Senator Cherargei. Yeye ameshafanya research yake akajua ya kwamba pesa imetoka kutoka mahali fulani imeongezwa. Kwa hivyo waziri akuje atueleze kinagaubagwa ya kwamba hii pesa imekuwa vipi, imeongezeka, na imeongezeka kwa sababu gani, itaisha lini ili tusherekee hiyo barabara. Kwa hivyo ninaunga Senator Cherargei katika ile statement ametoa. Asante kwa kunipatia nafasi.
Asante Senator Wario Juma. Lakini kile ambacho nimesikia ukisema ni ya kwamba mimi naelewa Kiswahili. Nilijua ulitaka kusema ya kwamba nitasema barabara yenyewe ni ya moja kwa moja, express ni moja kwa moja. Hau kusema kwamba mimi najua mambo zaidi kuhusu ile barabara. La hasha. Najua ulitaka niseme moja kwa moja. Next order, and looking at the House, we cannot get numbers for order number 8. So I'll defer order number 8, number 9, number 10, number 11, number 12, number 13, number 14, 15, and 16. Next order.
Order number 17, motion, recognizing and appreciating the elderly by county governments.
Senator Cherargei. Sorry, Senator Mwaruma. I had a balance of 11 minutes and he's online. Sorry, Senator Cherargei. Senator Mwaruma. Senator Mwaruma, unatusikia? Senator Mwaruma, twakusikiza, unaweza kulivalia swala la njuga. Senator Mwaruma. Okay, Senator Mwaruma, unapojaribu kutafuta mahali pazuri ndio tuweze kukusikia kwa njia shwari, nitamuita Senator Cherargei.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the motion recognizing and appreciating the elderly by the county governments. I think, Mr. Speaker, we need, as the house that protects devolution, that we need to protect our elderly. Any society that does not appreciate the elderly is a society that is doomed for failure. Mr. Speaker, because most of these elderly people gave their youthful years working for this nation, building this nation, sacrificing for this nation. They have laid the foundation. I think this is a high time as a nation we must appreciate. Mr. Speaker, whenever I'm in Nandi, you get retired senior civil servants, be it teachers, farmers, and life has given them a beating because they are old, they can't work. Mr. Speaker, they rely on their children, and sometimes children also do not have job. With the highest rate of unemployment, they can't maintain their parents, Mr. Speaker. So it is important, and one of the challenges that affects the elderly in the society is majorly health issues. Some of them have terminal illnesses because of old age diseases, Mr. Speaker. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, is also because of food, shelter. When you visit some of those homes, Mr. Speaker, you find that these old grandfathers and mothers don't have anybody to support them. They need to buy medicine, they need to buy food, they need to sustain themselves as Kenyans, Mr. Speaker. These are the people who have given their best years to the nation. And therefore, I think what we are just doing is the right. It's even under the Constitution, on the one of the celebrated other feature of this 2010 Constitution is recognition of older people rights also. And therefore, I think what Senator Rose Nyamunga is trying to do is just to call upon county governments. I would have expected county governments in their wisdom, because, or in their wisdom, to even start this program. The national government has started this program, Pesa kwa Wazee, and this program has been there since 2006. But also there are still gray areas. And I remember there is a statement that we wrote here where we were questioning, Mr. Speaker, why were specific banks were being used. And the question we were asking then is, why would you use to pay 2,000 shillings or so using a bank account or using withdrawal of banks, Mr. Speaker? And another question we wanted to know, why would they not be sent through the M-Pesa lines, Mr. Speaker? And the third question we were asking then was, how can we become efficient in terms of ensuring that the right person gets that, Mr. Speaker, the amount that is needed? And the fourth issue that must be addressed, how is the registration process? Because even in Nandi, sometimes you are being told by the chiefs, DCC, and many others, Mr. Speaker, they will normally tell you, we are yet to be registered. We don't know where it is being registered, how it is being done. So in as much as there have been gray areas, it has assisted some population of the elderly people to be able to access some of these basic services, like health, like food, like shelter. And I know it might not be enough. So what county government should do is to supplement what the national government is doing, and I think it is their role. Mr. Speaker, I was somewhere in Masab sub-county, a place called Chebiewet. I was in a place called Kamungei, a place called Soshat, a border we share, Kamasai border we share with Kakamega County. And when you hear, when Amze stands in the public baraza, the question they will ask, we hear there is money for Wazee, but where is it? How do we register? How do we process? I know those people who are enjoying pension are not part of what has been captured. And therefore, this wisdom of the senator, the sponsor of the motion, it is upon us to support and to ask county assemblies to tailor-make their own legislations and policies, even when they are doing budgetary allocation. We have seen where governors are spending extravagantly to buy newspapers and flowers and mandazi and chai in the offices. Well, if we can cut those expenses and even buying fuel, you get a governor having a fleet of vehicles that consume a lot of fuel. What is the need for if we can allow that money to be used for such novel issues? And I want to celebrate many Kenyans, Mr. Speaker, who even the Catholic Church, I think a number of religious organizations have started programs on how to assist the elderly. I think, and also private individuals, organizations, I think we need to celebrate them because there is nothing as worse to be an elderly, to be alone, to be sick, to be without food, and yet they have given their best years for the development and creation of the wealth and foundation of this republic, Mr. Speaker. And I think another issue is that we need also to, apart from creating a cash transfer program, we must relook also about the housing in this legislation, and I hope these are resolutions that we can make. Because how do we ensure housing? And then another factor, Mr. Speaker, the third point is how to create home care services, especially in health. You remember some of these old people cannot use motorbikes, cannot access. You can find an old person maybe in all the way from Kilibwani, wants maybe to travel to Kapsabet. That's quite a kilometers. They are old, they are tired, and they are sick. So what the county government should do also is enhance a vibrant home care services. And I don't think it is expensive. If it is, for example, Nandi, we have 30 wards. If you can recruit 2 nurses to be doing home care services apart, and also palliative care to the terminally ill patients, it will be very cheap because they need to check if the elderly are diabetic, they have pressure, maybe other cancer or any other form of disease. They can even get a motorbike, hire 2 nurses per ward. For example, in Nandi, will be around, I think, 60 nurses. And those home care will ensure that they go and visit those homes, and they also assist in terms of recovery. So, Mr. Speaker, the deaths that occur of the old people, it's not about the disease killing them. It's about how they are being taken care of. Some of them die because of anger, not because they are sick as such. So we must start also a home care vibrant process. And then, Mr. Speaker, the fifth point I want to make is to ensure that access in terms of registration. And I think this is where Kenya National Bureau of Statistics comes in. Last year, the population and housing census of 2019 was done. The Kenya National Bureau of Statistics should tell us why would older people be complaining, Mr. Speaker, of the older people's cash transfer program. Yet the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics has statistics. We need to encourage government agencies to share the information. Because if the Ministry of Interior wants information about the older people in the Republic, and I've seen the demographics, how they have done it, it is very easy. Then why should we, when you go to the village, Wazee will ask you, even if you are in Wajir, they will ask you, how do you register? Yet the national government, through Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, they have the statistics. They can even tell, Mr. Speaker, where you come from in Laikipia, if it is Marmanet or somewhere there, they can tell in that ward how many people are there, even if it is in my brother's place, Tana River. They can easily, why would you subject our older people in terms of processes? These are older people, they don't have phones, and you know what shocks me with these, some of these things, and my neighbor, Senator Shionga, is that why would you tell your old people to make a WhatsApp? Or we put it online. We advertise online. So what do you mean? You know, it shocks. So my mzee from Mosoriat, like somebody from Mosoriat or somewhere in Dalat or Kabiet or Tindret or even in somewhere near Western, there Kamungei, where she went with my team, they are down there. How will they know? When you tell mzee, you know, I met some diseases and I was shocked, I was mortified with fear. The mzee were asking him, we didn't hear you registering. They say, we put it online. The all government services are put on, which is okay. But this is a 65-year-old man, 70-year-old man. How will they access the internet? So we need to challenge, Mr. Speaker, and ensure that we assist. And the county governments, there is so much wastage. There is nothing to show for it. In fact, I have not even, and you know, I was in another function somewhere in Chapel Bay, somewhere around Koilot there. And when some Wazes stood and asked the governor of Nandi, he called them when he was campaigning for governor and promised that he will create stipend for the old people in Nandi. One of his manifesto was taking care of the older in the society or the elderly. But he has never delivered on the promise. And you know, there is money. We see a lot of wastages in county governments. We see unnecessary privilege and wastage of resources, Mr. Speaker. For example, in Nandi, there was a case where we lost cement. We lost nails. We lost tires. We lost even close to 200 million. And county government or some of the county staff were allegedly involved. And the governor finds it's okay, the governor of Nandi. So, Mr. Speaker, we must be honest and speak the truth to power. That's what we can do as the defenders and protectors. And there is no need, Mr. Speaker. We fought here. You and me, we were in the same team, saying 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling. Money was added to Laikipia. Money was added to Nandi by 1.6 billion. From 5.3 billion was added to Nandi County. Then why would Waze be complaining in Laikipia or in Nandi or in Kakamega or in Tana River or in Wajir or Garissa simply because, and you know it shocks me, Mr. Speaker. For example, in Nandi, we are approaching 900,000. I don't think more than a quarter of those people are above 65 years old. It cannot even consume even close to 50 or 30 million per year to give them 3,000 only so that they can buy Panadol. And you know one interesting thing about Nandi, I was in Kabia Sub-County Hospital over the weekend on Sunday. There is no even Panadol, even paracetamol, even the basic drugs, the painkillers. These Wazes have to go in Kabia Center and buy it, or Rimaki, or Lesos, or Kaptumo, or Kobuchoy. They need to go even Serem, where we share border with Viga. Or even they need to go to Maraba or Chemase, Mr. Speaker. Or even in Mosoriat, where I come from, Mr. Speaker. These people, and we have added money. There was no need for us to fight here, 1 shilling, 1 man, 1 vote. And then when we add money, the governors decide to go to exotic holidays, that getaways, and many other things. They started to build mansions and accumulate wealth, ill-gotten wealth. Yet our older people who say, we normally now, as we campaign, we tell them, pay sisi mate. Ati Waze, you call now, in fact, Waze are more relevant now than any other season. Any politician now, you will see inviting Waze at wanipe mate. The same Waze, you cannot give them money of Waze. It's the same Waze, you are telling them, give me money, give me mate. I don't know how to translate that, blessings, give me blessings. Unajua, Mr. Speaker, the Kiswahili is a bit complicated, kidogo. But what I wanted to say, it is unfortunate that as county governments, and I have seen, even my own governor, I have seen him inviting Waze, give me munipe mate. Then, how can you know, it is hypocritical, it is unfair to Waze of this nation. Now every rally, you say, let Waze come, bless us. But when it comes, and I want to say, under United Democratic Alliance, one of the key pillars of bottom-up, we must take care of Waze. And we'll speak to powers. I've not had, you know, presidential candidates, Mr. Speaker, have not launched their manifesto. But I hope when they launch, they should be able to tell us what are they doing for Wazee, the elderly in the society, the vulnerable, the innocent that we should be, Mr. Speaker, that we have. And it is good that even people living with disability, we need to have a targeted approach on how to assist our vulnerable in the society. And it is good, Senator Maura, the future real member of parliament is in the house, because on that basis he understands the unique challenges. He understands the unique challenges of the vulnerable in the society. And the vulnerable is among the elderly, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, another point that I make so that I seed ground for other colleagues is that we need also, even as we approve this motion for the elderly, in our Wazee, we need also to come up a way. You know, Mr. Speaker, there is these organizations called elder groups, communal organizations. You have had, there is Jurinjeke, there is Miot, or Nandika Gaburu Elders, where I come from, led by Mzee Kitur. There is also Nyumba Kiama, the Kikuyu Council of Elders. We have the Luya Council of Elders. I know they are very active during political season. We should also see how we can use those organizations, not only for political, Mr. Speaker, but how do we use, for example, Miot or Nandi Council of Elders to reach out to the elderly within Nandi County, for example. Even in Laikipia County, where you come from, Mr. Speaker, even in Kiambu County. I don't think, you know, Kiambu is a city is almost a South City County, but they are elderly also. They are elderly where Senator Maura comes from. So we need also to see how can we use these organizations. And then the seventh point I wanted to make is how do we come up with this motion to ensure we create transfer of cultural values to other generations. Mr. Speaker, I pray one day a county government will build a cultural center, give Wazee stipend even, call the young people to come and sit and listen to the culture, listen to the values, listen to the stories about who they come. They say if you do not know your past, you can't know your future. I wish there is a day where most of the children that we are giving birth today, Mr. Speaker, most of them are growing in towns. It will reach a point in our society as a country where we will create cultural centers, invite Wazee to even teach mother tongue to our children. And it's not an offense to know your language. It is negative ethnicity that is bad for this country. And I know my chair of national cohesion and integration, Senator Naomi Shionga, should be at the forefront now, especially as we approach to the general election, because we don't want leaders who will cause incitement, Mr. Speaker. When I say mother tongue to be trained, it does not mean that we are encouraging negative ethnicity. We need to appreciate our unique nature. We want our children to know. So how can we factor in, apart from giving transfer? You know, I almost say handouts because I've seen Azimio are doing handouts of 6,000. No, it's about transfer, Mr. Speaker. Apart from giving them cash transfer, can we make use also of Wazee by creating cultural centers within county government so that we can even go and, if I want to know about the culture of Kikuyu.
What is it, Senator Shionga?
Mr. Speaker, I raise one point of information that Senator Cherargei withdraws that Azimio or our movement is working on handouts. We are only doing the manifesto that wants to see our people better, and we are not, the term handouts should be withdrawn. We are not doing handouts. We are doing just a program in our manifesto. Thank you.
After the program, are you not going to hand out that money?
Mr. Speaker, I was just saying that Senator Cherargei withdraw that statement because it is not a handout. Even if the money is going to be handed out or given, it's not a handout. There's a difference between handouts, giving bribes or giving some token, and giving out money through a program or a system that is certified by the government. And
Okay.
that's what we mean in our manifesto.
Okay, everybody has gotten. Proceed, Senator Cherargei.
Let me make it better by saying programs of handouts. I think that is so that my sister can be comfortable.
Please, Senator Cherargei, stick to.
Yeah,
your
I'm
argument.
sticking. I'm coming
Stick
to the
your-
point. I'm just developing my.
No. Please forget about. Please stop that. Just proceed with.
Okay. Now, you know, I was just building by saying, Mr. Speaker, I can see my time is spent. What I wanted to emphasize, Mr. Speaker, is that we need, as a county governments and the protectors of devolution, to create cultural centers that are vibrant. I think I once went to Kwale during official parliamentary duty visit, and we found that Governor Salim Vuria has built a very good cultural center in Kwale. And I thought that is brilliant. We can also, instead of giving these old people transfer of money, these are people with experience. Some of them are retired doctors. They are retired civil servants who are very senior in government. How can we tap? And I remember Meru County government, I don't know whether that program died, because I saw Governor Kiraitu Murungi had created eminent persons of Meru, where retired senior civil servants like the Ambassador Francis Mudaura and many other senior civil servants who used to serve, to be part of the advisors to the county governments. So we can also tap. It doesn't mean that most of these old people are beggars. We can tap their experience. We can even tap, create, say that when I want to know the culture of a Kikuyu nation, Mr. Speaker, I can just walk to Laikipia Cultural Center, sit, get some old man of 80 years, they tell me about the history, they tell our children, you know, if you are intermarried. I think it is very important. And I hope, Mr. Speaker, in the future, I know you are not running now, but in the future, when you run for governor, those ideas that when, God willing, maybe after 2027, when you run for governor, because now, you know, you are coming back as the second-term senator of Laikipia, so those are brilliant ideas that you can implement that will assist the relevance, because these old people will always be grateful. So this motion is timely, Mr. Speaker, and I hope my sister, Senator Naomi Shionga, since she also runs, she can run with this idea and develop a manifesto to sell in Kakamega County. Mr. Speaker, I support this motion, and I look forward to having proper resolutions that will assist our elderly in our society. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Matista Shionga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to support Senator Nyamunga's motion on reorganizing and by appreciating the elderly by the county government. Mr. Speaker, I do support this motion, and I appreciate even Senator Cherargei, as he sits down, that this motion is timely, and it's well placed, and it's in the right house, it is in the right legislative process, that we do appreciate what the government is doing currently with even the program that it has initiated when it comes to cash transfer programs. However, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that this program, we had discussed even in the Committee of Labor, where it has some problems, especially on the stalled registration process of the registering persons, the elderly persons in our country, especially during the COVID-19 time or period. Mr. Speaker, it is that we realize that these people are very important in the Republic of Kenya. These are our own parents, these are our own relatives, and these are people that need to be protected by the state. And indeed, when the state does what it is doing, we need to appreciate, but we also need to realize that the state needs to do more when it comes to them. Because this cluster of people, they are aged.
But Senator, you were telling us when you're in the Committee of Labor, you realize this problem of registering old people. We have Assistant Chief. We have Nyumba Kumi. We have ACC and DCC. And they know the people who live in that area, because many of people who live in this country are not nomads, to a situation that they would know the old people. Why are you telling this House, as Committee of Labor, you encounter there was problem in registering old people who can easily be gotten from where they live by the chiefs, assistant chiefs. What were the hiccups?
Mr. Speaker, there were hiccups, yes, and we shared, and we still share the progress of the report through the committee chair, which is a procedure in this House. And so I was just saying, being a member of Labour Committee, when we met with the necessary stakeholders, we discussed this issue, and we realized that there were problems, especially with the program when it comes to registration that stalled. And one of the reasons were when during the COVID-19, that most of the people had reached that age and were not registered, or they were yet to be registered. However, I again say that, Mr. Speaker, the report will be laid on the floor of the House, so I do not need to go into discussing the report. But I want just to say that from the way I heard or I followed the discussions, there is a problem in it. And there's much that needs to be done, Mr. Speaker, especially when it comes to registration, the system of registration, where we need to identify these people. Most of these people have not been reached. And it is important that we realize that as time goes by, these people are aging and the number is increasing. The number of these people the percent of these people is increasing, unlike those that are benefiting directly from this program. So the government needs to do a lot, and I like when the motion like this one comes, that even it becomes a bill, that when you become, or when one becomes of age, and you are you reach an age where you need to be absorbed by the system, it becomes an automatic. Then it is good that we realize that the people not need to toil, or the aged need not to toil around by looking for people to register them. But the legislation should be very free, fair, and accessible, just to mandate that when you reach certain age, then you need to be registered automatically, and the benefits need to come by that registration. Mr. Speaker, again, when we look at this age group, where the elderly, when we're looking at the elderly, and I like the county government's participation, it needs to be participating. It needs to be 100% participatory, especially through the legislation that the senator here has said that they need to develop legislation and policies that can protect these elderly, including ensuring that the counties register them, because it is from these counties that these people emanate from. And these people are identified by the Nyumba Kumis. And so it is very important that if we devolve this function from the national level, where it takes time for us to process the names and wait for all the digitals, or wait for all those processes to be done digitally, then we are wasting a lot of time. Some even die alongside, and it is not easy for us to know, and they die even without the benefit. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to support this motion, and just say that it is very important for us to identify that these people are at risk, or these individuals are at risk first, and also they need support and self-sufficient support, where when you look at what they need now to be comforted, they need to be assisted, especially with the community and even their government. And when it comes even to medical care, Mr. Speaker, these people are prone to conditions, especially chronic diseases, and many of them, regardless of what or which area they come from, they are prone to insecurity. They are prone to diseases that I'm just saying, chronic diseases, and they are lonely. Most of them are lonely because they no longer live with their relatives. They are left alone on their own to survive. It's survival for the fittest. So if the government then comes in through the county government, and support them and have a realistic system and have a realistic program that will reach each and every one of them, then at least we shall be doing all the fairness to this class of people, because everyone will want to live and age well. Mr. Speaker, I also want to say that with the technology is growing every day, and in and out, changes on the softwares, unlike when we used to have hard copies. So these elderly, you find out that as they age, they are growing, even some are blind. They cannot be able even to read and write. It's even hard for them to speak on their own. They're supposed to have assistive devices that can assist them communicate to the right people, because this is where we are now trying to protect them from fraud, especially using technology. We had some complaints. I had some complaints from around when I was doing my visits, and when I was doing my visits in the counties, and looking at the equal opportunities that are given to this particular class of people, it is very hard that you find that somebody who is probably the next of kin to these particular people, or to these people, tries to flout around the system and gets the benefit that belongs to these people. So it's very good that this motion is there, but when they are looking at the policies, when they are looking at the legislation, framework accommodates also how safe these people are going to be, how the literacy in it, how better are they going to access information, and how the benefit is going to be direct to the beneficiary, and like passing to the second person who might fraud the whole system. And when returns are done, I also want to argue that the frameworks accommodates that to minimize as many people as possible from being prone to corruption. Because when returns are done, maybe at the national level, it passes through stages back to where the program was initiated. And you find that people are doing returns which are not there. When even these people are dead, somebody is continuing to get the benefit. So I just want to say that the program is good in itself, and we need to devolve the program, but also need to look at the technology part of it, assist as much as we can, especially when it comes to internet, because most of them also, again, come from rural areas where there is no even internet, and they have what we call the kamulikamwizi. The kamulikamwizi style of phone, and they cannot be even able to read and write. So I want to urge you, Mr. Speaker, that as we continue debating on this motion, it's important for us to realize that we celebrate these people, we celebrate the society, we celebrate those who have lived this long, but we also need to assist them to address the insecurity that comes with, and the concern that comes with them, and the challenges that comes with this elderly. Otherwise, I support the motion, and I congratulate Senator Rose Nyamunga for coming up with this. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Asante sana. Senator Walio Juma, Senator wa Tana River.
Asante Bwana Spika kwa kunipatia nafasi. Bwana Spika, wakongwe hasa wazee walio mashinani na wale ambao hawajabahatika kijamii, ni watu ambao wako na shida tofauti katika jamii tofauti na kaunti tofauti. Kwa hivyo ni muhimu sana kuangalia maslahi ya watu hawa popote pale walipo katika sehemu za mashinani huko tunakowakilisha katika bunge hili. Bwana Spika, hasa jamii za kuhamahama ambayo mimi ninawakilisha katika bunge hii ya Senate. Wazee na wengi wale watu ambao hawajabahatika katika jamii wanaishi katika sehemu ambao hakuna kitu inaitwa network, na kwa kweli kuwafikia ni vigumu sana. Vile ulivyoongea hapo mbeleni ya kwamba wazee wa nyumba 10, viongozi wale ACC, DCC, hata hawa pia wako mbali na hao wazee ambao wanaishi katika sehemu hizo. Ili kuja kupata habari kikamilifu yale yanayoendelea katika jamhuri hili letu la Kenya ni ngumu kwao. Hata hii pesa ya wazee ambayo wanapewa katika muda tofauti katika ile sehemu yangu, wazee ukawa miezi 6 hawapati hizi pesa, na hasa kuja kusafiri katika sehemu ambazo wao wako kufikia mahali kuna benki ama kuna post office Mr. Speaker, hata wewe utawahurumia sana. Kwenda hasa kupata pesa hiyo kidogo itamlazimu mzee asafiri kilomita nyingi katika sehemu ambayo barabara ni duni, barabara hazipitiki, na hasa wakati ya mvua. Kuna mito ambazo haizipeleki maji, lakini wakati ya mvua maji inatembea. Basi wazee hao kuvuka na kufika katika sehemu ya miji ambayo ni ya kupata hizi pesa ni ngumu. Basi kama sheria haitawekwa ya kwamba hawa wazee wafikiwe mahali wako, na hasa wale ambao wanafanya kazi hii wasifanye uzembe, wafikie hawa wazee katika sehemu hizo, ingekuwa ni kitu moja maridadi kabisa. Kwa sababu huwezi ukamwambia mzee wa miaka 70, 80. Na Mr. Speaker, wacha nikuambie wale wazee wa ufugaji hawakufi haraka. Wale ni watu wa kunywa maziwa na kunywa chakula zile za asili. Hawajaingia kwenye chemicals hizi za siku hizi. Watu hukaa miaka 100 na kitu. Na ukishaorodhesha watu wa miaka 100, miaka 90 na miaka 80, na wakae mbali na sehemu ambayo huduma hizo zinapatikana, basi mzee huyo atakuwa amepata shida. Kama kutakuwa na sheria ambayo itawekwa vizuri ili hao wazee wafikiwe mahali walipo, ingekuwa ni kitu moja maridadi, na ingekuwa ni kitu moja ya kukuza haki ya binadamu, hasa kwa wale wakongwe. Mr. Speaker, wewe unafahamu vizuri sana hawa wakongwe ni mbegu na sisi ni mazao. Sisi tumetokana na kwa hawa wazee. Kama tutawacha mbegu zetu zikae vibaya, basi tutakuwa ni jamii ambayo hatuna mwelekeo. Lakini basi sisi ambao tumezaliwa na hawa wakongwe, ambao saa hii tumebahatika, tumesoma, wengine tumebahatika tumekuwa katika sehemu ya bunge, wengine katika makazi tofauti katika dunia hii, wengine hata hawako Kenya, wako nje ya Kenya. Ni mzuri sana sisi tuweze kuangalia ile mbegu ambayo imetuleta sisi, na hiyo mbegu ni wale wakongwe ambao ikiwekwa sheria mwafaka vile hii motion inavyosoma, basi sisi tutakuwa ni jamii ambayo inajali maslahi ya watu wasiobahatika na wazee wakongwe wale wako majumbani sehemu tofauti. Wazee hawa, Bwana Speaker, mimi nilienda huko uzunguni, nimeona wazungu wameita sehemu zingine home for old people, yani kumaanisha ya kwamba hawa wazee kuna mahali wanawekwa. Serikali inawaangalia, inawapatia pesa, inawapelekea daktari kule, na inawapatia lishe pia. Kwa hivyo hali yao inakaa sawa. Katika hali ya Kiafrika, sijui kama hiyo inaweza ikafanya kazi, kwa sababu wazee ukiwaleta pahali moja, nafikiria hata watakataa, sababu watasema sisi tunaenda kutupwa katika sehemu ambayo ni sehemu ya kutupia wazee, ni sehemu ya takataka. Hatutafika huko nafikiri katika sheria hii, kwa sababu tukisema wazee wote wapelekwe kule, vijana wengine ni kichwa maji. Bwana Speaker, wanaweza beba wazee kwa malori na kuwateremsha katika sehemu ya old people. Hiyo pengine itafaa tu wazungu peke yake, haiwezi faa sisi. Pia ningetoa wito kabisa kwa wale vijana na wale watu ambao wako na nguvu na waliobahatika, kabla haijafika sheria na hatujasukuma serikali kusaidia wazee, wao pia katika kiasi wanaweza kufikia, waangalie hawa wazee na kila mtu aweke mzee wake safi. Kwa sababu Bwana Speaker, hata sisi, mimi na wewe pia saa hii tuko vijana bado, lakini tuko na vijana pia kule nyumbani. Tukileta sheria kama hiyo, siku ile tutakosa nguvu, basi tutalazimika na sisi pia tubebwe na magari tuwekwe huko. Na itasemekana, Speaker, si wewe wakati wako ndio ulipitisha sheria ya kupelekwa huko, kwa hivyo hauwezi kataa kwa wakati huo. Wacha tutengeneze na tuifanye maridadi. Bwana Speaker, hakika wewe ni mfugaji, mimi ninajua, na unajua sheria na unajua maisha ya ufugaji vile inavyokaa. Hebu angalia vizuri, kama wewe ni mfugaji na umehama, na mzee leo hawezi hama na wewe, atakwambia mimi kichwa inaniuma, goti ni hivi, mimi kidogo. Kuna walemavu kadhaa ambao hawawezi kutembea kufika katika kituo ya pili ambayo mahali ng'ombe amba mbuzi ziweze kuweka nanga, zipate maji na nyasi. Basi itabidi wale ambao hawajabahatika kijamii watabaki katika sehemu ya mahame, na ukishawawacha katika hiyo sehemu ya mahame, basi utakuwa umepoteza watu muhimu. Kwa hivyo Mr. Speaker, mimi ninaona hii sheria, wakati hii motion inaletwa na Senator Nyamunga, aliileta wakati mwafaka ambayo inafaa itengenezwe na ipitishwe. Na pia bunge za county popote pale walipo, bunge tofauti wanafaa wao pia wapitishe hizi sheria katika sehemu zao, na pia watu hawa waangaliwe na watafutwe, ili ministry ambayo inahusika isiwache wale wasiobahatika kijamii wawe wanateseka katika sehemu tofauti. Asante Bwana Speaker kwa kunipatia nafasi.
Asante Senator Gori Juma. Nimesikia ukisema ya kwamba wazee wanasafiri mchana kutwa ndio waweze kupata mahali ambapo watapata malipo yao. Pengine nilidhania utasema zile 2,000 ambazo zinatajwa zinaweza zikawa ni chache, pengine kuwe na mikakati ya kuongeza zile hela. Sasa nataka kumuita Senator Isaac Mwaura. Nimesikia Senator Cherargei akisema, sikujua vizuri, akisema mambo ya mbunge wa Ruiru. Nadhani alikuwa akiongea kuhusu wewe.
Asante Mheshimiwa Speaker. Utaniwia radhi, nina sauti ambayo sio sahihi zaidi kwa sababu nina homa kidogo, lakini naweza kusikika kidogo kwa sababu pia ni bora heri nusu shari kuliko shari kamili. Mheshimiwa Speaker, ningependa kuunga mkono hoja hii, na ni kweli nimetoka kule Ruiru. Nilikuwa na wanabodaboda wengi sana 2,243 kwa sababu nilikuwa na mtaji wao wa hela milioni 1 ambao nilikuwa ni watunuku leo. Kwa hiyo na tumekuwa na msafara Thika Road mkubwa sana. Kwa hiyo ni kweli kwamba nawania kiti cha ubunge cha Ruiru, na pia bado ninaongoza kwa kura ya maoni katika kiti cha seneta wa Kiambu. Jambo la kushangaza sana, lakini nashukuru Mungu kwa hilo. Niseme kwamba hoja hii bungeni ambayo imewasilishwa na rafiki yangu Seneta Rose Nyamunga, ambaye yuwagombea kuwa seneta aliyechaguliwa kwa kule Kisumu na ameshawahi kuwa mwakilishi wa kina mama, na ambaye tunashiriki kabisa katika maombi, na pia tulikuwa katika jopo la maspika kama vile ulivyo hapa Mheshimiwa Speaker. Ni jambo zuri sana ambalo hili ameliwasilisha hapa, na tukija katika kipindi cha lala salama cha bunge la 12 ambayo ni seneti ya 3 ya Jamhuri ya Kenya. Niseme kwamba watu wetu ambao ni wakongwe wameweza kutelekezwa kwa njia ambayo sio nzuri hata kidogo. Si eti kusema kwamba ukitelekezwa kuna kutelekezwa ambao kuna kufaa. Kama umetelekezwa ni kumaanisha kwamba hujatiliwa maanani. Lakini niseme kwamba fauka ya hayo kwamba sisi sote sisi tunaweza kuwa watahiniwa wa kuwa vikongwe kwa miaka inayokuja. Kwa hiyo wakati tunazungumzia hoja hii, ikumbukwe fika kwamba sio eti kwa sababu ni wale ambao tunawaangazia. Na ikumbuke kuna kitabu cha aliyetuacha Katama Mkange, wala nisi, kwamba wale ni sisi. Ni sisi ambao tunahodhi hii nafasi baada ya miaka michache. Sasa hivi nimetoka kumwaga aliyekuwa seneta Balozi Ambassador Dr. Wilfred Machage, tukiwa na Senator Shiyonga na wengine tuliokuwa nao pale katika SDA Maxwell Church, kanisa la Maxwell, na amefariki akiwa na miaka 65 tu. Alikuwa mchanga sana. Katika hili jumba kuna watu wengi sana ambao ni maseneta ambao wana umri ambao umefikia zaidi ya hapo. Na kabla hata sijaendelea, niseme Mheshimiwa Speaker, nitoe rambirambi zangu kwa jamaa na marafiki. Dr. Wilfred Machage tulijuana na yeye, na pia mtoto wake wa kwanza Steve Machage tumesoma na yeye Kenyatta University kutoka mwaka wa kwanza mpaka wa 4. Tumekuwa marafiki wa familia zetu, mimi na mke wangu na mke wake Mama Tema Mutupi kutoka kule South Africa. Kwa hiyo ni watu ambao tumekuwa wakaribu kwa pamoja sana, na wakati alipokuwa hapa alikuwa pia mmoja wapo wa jopo la maspika. Kwa hiyo Mungu ailaze roho yake pema peponi. Kila mtu ana jukumu la kuweza waangazia hawa vikongwe. Juzi tu nimempoteza nyanyangu mpendwa, na nilikuwa nampenda sana, akiwa na miaka 90, na kwa sababu Mungu amenipatia uwezo nikawa mimi ni mbunge, angalau nilikuwa namsaidia kila mwezi na mtumia pesa. Ingawa baada ya kufariki nilijiuliza nikasema basi hata hizo hela hazina maana, kwa sababu ningelipenda kuwa na yeye kwa muda mrefu. Sidhani kuna watu wengi, Mheshimiwa Speaker, wa umri huu wangu na wako pengine watafikisha miaka hiyo 90. Mheshimiwa Wario amesema tunachukua kemikali nyingi katika vyakula na hata kutoka katika mazingira ambayo tunaishi. Lakini kwa kweli kumekuwa na changamoto kubwa sana za kuweza kuwatunza wazee wetu. Kisa na maana kwa sababu kitambo kidogo ilikuwa ni rahisi wawe katika kule vijijini, alafu kama Isaac Mwaura akashaoa atajenga mle, awe na wajukuu ambao watakuwa kimliwaza nyanya yao ama babu yao. Lakini sasa hivi sisi tumetorokea mijini, na inabidi kwamba wakuu wetu wagure waje kukaa na sisi kwenye vyumba ambavyo ni vidogo mno, kwenye mazingira ambayo hayawapatii nguvu na wanaonekana kana kwamba ni bugdha kwa jamii. Wengi ambao pengine wamebarikiwa wana uwezo wa kuwajengea katika the same compound, lakini unakuta kwamba vile ambavyo tumejenga vyumba ni vidogo, na wale ambao tayari wamepanga ama kukodisha katika hizi flats inakuwa ni vigumu sana, kwa sababu nyanya atakaa kwenye sebuleni, hana pengine chumba cha kulala na kadhalika. Kwa hiyo ni jambo ambalo tunafaa kuliangalia zaidi, fauka tu ya kupatiana shilingi 2,000 kila mwezi na matibabu ya NHIF. Tujiulize sera ile ambayo inafaa, sheria. Nafikiri Mheshimiwa Gathoni wa Mushomba amewasilisha sheria ile kule, na Mheshimiwa Cheruiyot alikuwa na nyingine hapa, ziweze kuiana ili tuwe na sheria moja ya watu wazee, ama ukipenda kwa kimombo senior citizen, wakuu wetu, ili waweze kulindwa kikamilifu na jamii. Na nafikiri haifai tu kuwa kwamba hilo liwe ni jukumu la serikali, kwa sababu Mheshimiwa Speaker, ikiwa ni mambo ya majukumu ya kiserikali, itabidi basi tuweze kutengeneza mabweni ambapo hawa wakongwe wetu wataishi. Na hata kama tunakumbuka wakati tulikuwa tunakwenda katika shule za malezi, inakuta kwamba kukaa katika haya mabweni ni mateso matupu. Na hawa wenzetu, wakuu wetu, wanahitaji kuwa wakisikia lile joto la kwamba wao wanaenziwa na familia zao, wanaweza kupata vichekesho na kadhalika. Mimi ni mwanabodi wa Leonard Cheshire Disability Services katika nchi hii ya Kenya, ambaye ni mojawapo wa muungano wa Leonard Cheshire International, na tuko na nyumba za wazee kule Kariobangi, Huruma na kadhalika, ambazo tunashughulikia hawa wazee. Na ni changamoto kubwa sana kuwa na hela na kuhakikisha kwamba hiyo miji inaendeshwa sawa sawa, isipokuwa ni wale watawa ambao wamejitolea kutoka kanisa la Katoliki ambao wanatusaidia sana kwa kujitolea katika jambo hili. Kwa hiyo ni jambo ambalo serikali haiwezi kuhodhi kwa asilimia. Nafikiri ni muhimu tuangazie, je, kuna mambo ambayo tunaweza kutengeneza kama ni marupurupu ya uzeeni, tujaribu kuangalia mambo ya afya na mambo mengine kama hayo, kama ni ujenzi wa uzeeni, kwa sababu mara nyingi watu wanajenga nyumba zao wakati wamefika retire, na pengine kuwe na ule ushauri kama vile ambavyo nimeona umependekezwa hapa katika serikali zetu gatuzi, ndiposa pia watu wazee waweze kujua kipato chao kitapungua, hawana nguvu za mwili, ili waweze kujikimu wenyewe. Na Mheshimiwa Spika, ikumbuke kwamba hata mambo ya kukaa na wazazi katika mijini inawapendelea sana akina mama. Akina mama wenyewe wanapendwa na watoto wao wanaitwa mijini, lakini wazee wanawachwa kule na ng'ombe zikilia na zikitafuta majani, kwa sababu wao mwanaume wa Kiafrika ametengwa sana. Ameambiwa awe mkali kama simba kwa nyumba, akiguruma watu wote wanatoroka, basi wanamtorokea pia akiwa mzee, anabaki kinguruma peke yake huko kwa shamba. Mama amekwenda, mara anakwenda Marekani leo, kesho amekwenda Mombasa, siku nyingine amekwenda huko, na mzee huyu mpaka unasikia mzee wa miaka 80 ametafuta mtoto mdogo wa miaka 19 eti yuamuoa. Ni kwa sababu ya upweke. Ni upweke, Mheshimiwa Spika. Na haya mambo kama tutaangazia, mimi na wewe na wengineo tutakwenda kwenye msururu huo. Nafikiri hatuna suluhu la kutosha, na jambo hili haliwezi likakamilika kwa kupitia hoja hii. Ni muhimu tuweze kufikiria kisheria, kijamii, tutawezaje kutenga nafasi ya kuwasawazisha wazee wetu wajihisi kwamba wao pia ni wadau, kwa baada ya kufanyia serikali, baada ya kufanyia umma kazi, baada ya kujitolea kwenye jamii, kwamba hawatawachwa nyuma eti kwa sababu sasa hawana maana, kama vile ambavyo watu wanafikiria sasa umeshatumika, hauna nafasi katika jamii. Kwa hiyo serikali zetu gatuzi kama zingeweza kuwa na mipango sambamba ambayo inajumuisha kile ambacho serikali ya kitaifa inafanya, itakuwa ni jambo zuri sana la kuvutia. Ningeomba pia wawe na idara maalum ambayo inashughulikia watu ambao ni wakongwe, ambayo itakuwa imefadhiliwa vizuri zaidi, imepatiwa fedha na serikali za na county assembly, ili waweze kuwa mabunge ya county, ili waweze kuwa wanashughulikia masuala haya, na pia kuwa pia na watabibu katika hospitali zetu, kuwa na vitengo maalum katika zile referral hospital ambazo tumeziona zikitengenezwa kila kukicha, ili waweze kuwa wakisaidia hawa wazee wetu. Wanaingia kule na wale tunaitwa community health worker CHW, ambao wanafanya kazi nzuri sana ili kuwapatia chanjo, kuwapatia madawa na kadhalika. Mimi mwenyewe nimeona vile nyanyangu aliweza kuteseka wakati alikuja kuaga dunia, na vile pia kuna wale hata kwa nyumba itabidi tunaandika watu ambao wanaangalia hawa wazee wetu. Kwa hiyo kunafaa kuwa pia hata na taaluma, watu waweze kufundishwa katika shule zetu hizi za teknolojia kuwe na kwamba kuna vile kuna kufundishwa maalum, kuna kosi maalum ambao wanakwenda kufundisha hao, kwa sababu tunaendelea kuzeeka na miaka inayokuja. Kwa mfano, watu wengi sana wanakwenda retire kutoka katika afisi za umma. Nafikiri inakisiwa kwamba nusu ya wale ambao wameajiriwa sasa hivi, ikifika mwaka huu mwaka 2022 mpaka 24 25, watakuwa wakiondokea kazi zao. Wanakwenda wapi? Kwa hiyo lazima tuanze kuangalia, na hata kuwa na idara maalum katika serikali ya kitaifa na zingine katika gatuzi, diposa jambo hili lisiwe tu linachua ni mzigo tu wa familia, watu ambao wana kipato cha chini, kwa sababu uchumi umeweza kuzorota, na ndiposa pia tuweze kuwa na nguvu zile na kuwa na ule uzoefu wa utaaluma. Wakati nilikuwa wakati moja naishi kule Uingereza, kulikuwa na majadiliano makubwa sana ya kwamba kuna watu ambao wamechukulia nyumba za wazee kama biashara, na zilikuwa hata zinaweza kuwa na nafasi katika London Stock Exchange, Security Exchange. Can you imagine? Yani kwamba watu wamefanya hiyo biashara ni kubwa mno hivi kwamba watu wanaweza kununua share za manyumba za kampuni hiyo kupitia London Securities Exchange. Sisi tunafaa kufika pale. Hatufai kuwa tunatoza shida hii ya kijamii iwe kwamba ni biashara ya mtu binafsi. Tuuchukulie na huu mzigo uweze kubebwa na familia kwa kiasi, lakini serikali iweze kuwajibika, ndiposa usiwe ni mzito sana. Watu tuanze kuona kama vile tumeanza kuona huko mjini wa Kongo wanaanza kuombaomba kwa barabara kwa sababu hawana chakula, wanaonekana wamedhoofika, wanaonekana hawana mambo yao. Na pia mambo ya ulemavu yaangaliwe, kwa sababu pindi unapozeeka ndivyo unaendelea kuwa na ulemavu. Kwa hivyo tunafaa kuangalia haya maneno, na hata pia kupotea unafahamu, kuwa na upungufu wa uwezo wa akili. Nafikiri haya ni mambo ambayo tunafaa kuangalia zaidi, ili tuweze kuhakikisha kwamba watu pia hawajakuwa na njia ambayo inaweza kujidhuru, na tuwe tumeweza kujihami vya kutosha, ndiposa tuweze kujali kila mtu ambaye ni lazima, Mheshimiwa Spika, ataweza kuzeeka. Kwa haya mengi na machache, nasema naunga mkono huu na hoja hii, na niombe kwamba iweze kupasishwa, lakini sikuwe tu ni mapendekezo kama vile ambavyo iko hapa. Sheria kabambe iwe, na kama zipo ziweze kuhakikisha kama zinaweza kupitishwa kabla tujaenda kufunga muhula huu mwisho wa bunge la 12. Mheshimiwa Spika, naunga mkono. Asante.
Asante Senator Mwaura. Ningelipenda kumuita Senator Mwaruma. Senator Mwaruma. Senator Mwaruma. Senator Mwaruma, hatukupati. Senator Mwaruma ni kama hayuko. Kwa hivyo na hakuna mtu mwingine ambaye naona akitaka kuongea. Kwa hivyo ningetaka kumuita ambaye alikuwa ametoa hoja hii aweze kujibu. Senator aliyetoa hoja hii aweze kujibu. Senator Rose Nyamunga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Senator Rose Nyamunga, tumekupoteza.
No, I'm getting you.
Okay, basi endelea kuongea.
Yes, I want to take the opportunity to thank all the members who have been able to contribute to this motion. Mr. Speaker, this is a very critical and very important motion. And I know, and all of us have already mentioned that we appreciate what the national government has done so far. But it has to be cascaded to the county governments. What the national government has done is good, but now we expect it to go up to the county levels, because the national government cannot involve everybody because of the amount of monies that are involved. But if we combine efforts with the county, very, very successful. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank all the members who have contributed. They have really enriched this motion, and we expect it to move forward. Above all, we need legislation that should be put in place to enable the county governments also to be part of it. It is not a mistake for anybody to be elderly. And if anything, all of us are praying that we reach that old age. And so the moment we reach old age, not all of us are able to take care of ourselves. And where we have members of our country who cannot take care of ourselves, it is important that the government comes in to support. I want to support Baba Care. which I know will be in place come September of this year after the general elections. And this Baba Care will go a long way. It has enhanced the figure from 2,000 to 6,000. And many people have been arguing about this figure, but I believe that figures don't lie. And for any leader of Baba's caliber to come up with such a figure, he must have done a lot of research. He's somebody who has been in the government, and he knows that money can be made available to take care of the old age. So I want to thank all the members who have contributed, and I want to say that it is a very timely motion, and we want to push it to the very end to make sure that the county governments become part and parcel of it. Otherwise, I thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I beg to reply.
Thank you. This matter does not affect counties, so it will be a voice vote. And I put the question, which is that, aware that in 2006, the national government initiated the Older Persons Cash Transfer, OPCT program, popularly known as Pesa ya Wazee, which is an unconditional cash transfer program to destitute elderly persons above the age of 65 years to cater for their subsistence needs, noting that the beneficiaries receive a monthly stipend of Kenya shillings 2,000 delivered every 2 months through appointed payments agents, and also entitled to medical insurance through the National Health Insurance Fund, NHIF. Concern, however, that the program's credibility is marred by issues of delayed payments to beneficiaries, difficulties in processing of payments through the stipulated agents, and payments to unregistered persons. Now, therefore, the Senate recommends that the county governments complement the efforts of the national government and assist in resolving these challenges by, 1, developing registrations and policies to protect the elderly, including ensuring all elderly persons in their counties are registered in the OPCT program, and 2, organize value addition mechanisms such as financial training to help the beneficiaries of the program to efficiently utilize this allowance. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of that opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 18, motion, adoption of the report of the Standing Committee on Health on the special audit report on utilization of COVID-19 funds by 28 county governments.
I don't seem to see the mover, so the order is deferred. Honorable members, honorable senators, there being no any other business on the order paper, the Senate stand adjourned until tomorrow, Thursday, 3rd March 2022 at 2:30 p.m.